Hello everyone, good to see you. Welcome, Paul Tranny here with Christo and Emily Shea in the house for day 2. Yes, they came back because we locked the doors. So thank you. You had no choice but to stay. No, I'm just joking. But good to have you here for day 2. This is awesome, and you two get like 2 hours, which is awesome.
Yes.
This is really good.
We're super excited about that.
See some things happen. And by the way, like I don't know if you like want to do a quick recap because you covered a lot of information yesterday, so that was cool to see. And
yes.
And now it's time to get down to work. I see notes here. I think
there's no notes. What are you talking about?
I see they're just like I see. I don't know. I don't see anything here. There's nothing here.
It's the laptop here.
Yeah, it's just a laptop. There's no. But anyways, I'm super excited about what we have going on.
Well, I have an agenda.
Well, fantastic.
Let's do it. This is the good kind of agenda. So here we go. Let's launch into day 2. And what we're going to do today is do a quick recap. I'm going to give Emily feedback on her stylescape, which she wasn't able to complete yesterday. But we'll finish that, and then we're going to design, because you guys want to see us working, right?
Yeah, let's do it.
So let's do it. So quick recap for the project that we've taken on as a hypothetical is to design a VIP class for Emirates Airline. This is what it looks like, and we've decided to call it Emerald. And of course, if you were to do this for real, you'd really want to think about the name and positioning and all that kind of stuff. This is more of a design exercise, so we picked something. We decided to use these 2 word combinations, modern and classic, and try to find the happy place in between. So as you're looking at the work today and the following day, keep that in mind. Does it feel modern enough? Is it rooted in some kind of classical design elements? And that's what we're looking for.
Yeah.
And if you are watching this on the archive and you want to submit work, go ahead and do that. Hashtag future Adobe, we'll look out for it. And what we're trying to do is to create this identity system for an airline and to create some elements in terms of that complete identity system. So pick 3 of these and design that. Emily, do you have any ideas to what you're going to design for tomorrow?
I'm probably going to design menu for sure. I have, something in mind of how the menu will look like.
Sorry, but like when you say menu, do you mean like a restaurant menu?
Oh,
or
the
navigation?
menu on the airline. You know how like
traditional menu, like food menu.
Oh, traditional.
Food menu.
Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
Cool.
I'm glad you asked.
Nice.
That.
Yeah. I'm like.
So you're gonna do a menu. How about we do a poster?
Right, poster for sure. And I think we can probably merge menu and note card together. I feel like
menu
they might look the same.
Yeah.
Or along the same lines.
Let's do one more. Let's do something else.
Like wayfinding, maybe?
Wayfinding, okay.
Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense.
Wayfinding. What is
or
that
some
again?
signage.
Oh, signage.
Right, like
Okay.
here is the
Signage.
VIP room.
Or to separate peasant class from first class, we need to have
I'm
clear
in the
signage.
back. I have to join a gang to survive in the back.
So let's do that. So if you want to play along, pick something that you want to design, something that you can feel excited about making, and then do that. Okay, so let's get into it. We're day 2, Stylescape feedback. And I want to let you guys know, if you're watching, watch day 1, day 2, look for the Creative Cloud symbol, and there's going to be a phrase today. If you string the phrase together on day 3, we're going to give you guys a cap, and we have 4 caps to give away. Ooh. All right, diving in, here we go, getting into the feedback. You guys remember from yesterday's live stream, we have this kind of template to help guide you through what fits into Stylescape, and somebody asked yesterday, is a Stylescape like a mood board? And yes, it is. And you can call it whatever you want. Some people call it mood, style tiles, mood boards, things like that. But it's just to help your client identify really quickly, this is the general direction that we want to head in. So without further ado, I'm going to show you what Emily showed me late last night. I think this came in, what time did this come in? 11? No, 10. 10 p.m. So after we partied and had fun together. No, I'm talking about you and I.
We have responsible adults.
Yes,
here, by the way.
We went back. You guys had some fun.
We're good.
Yeah.
You had your adult beverages.
Right.
Emily and I went back to work.
One, whiskey.
Solved all the world's problems and then immediately forgot them all as well.
So Emily sent me this at 10 p.m. last night, and I looked at it, and so I'm going to give you guys some feedback that I shared with her.
It's really cool.
It's pretty cool. There's some really neat elements in here, some geometric designs that could be used as a pattern. We see some elements of gold, and the way that you use gold is you have to kind of use it very thoughtfully so it doesn't become too blinged out, so it doesn't become overwhelming and gaudy. And
tacky.
And the colors that we were looking at are this deep, dark emerald green, I suppose.
Yeah.
It's really dark, and there's some other colors that you've introduced here. We have a person who we think is kind of like this jet-setting, globe-trotting kind of person. They're obviously used to or accustomed to a certain style of life, luxury lifestyle, luxury brands, and that kind of thing. And we were looking at some gradients that you came up with yesterday from a poster. I think it's something for a Blue Note Festival, if I'm looking at that correctly.
Right.
So I thought, wow, okay, great job, way to pick it up. And then my feedback comes in that overall, it feels really dark. And I want it to be lighter and more modern. And it's feeling like old luxury. And I'm thinking it needs some kind of brightness, a spark, something else that needs to be in there. And here's a couple like tighter shots so you guys can get a better view of what Emily's done.
Cool lighting. Can I just ask how you did that lighting on that pattern?
That's actually a poster with another pattern overlaid on top of it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you composited it?
Yeah, I didn't make anything from scratch with the stylescape. Everything was found on Pinterest, Behance, Google, and everything was composited or color corrected and merged into the stylescape.
That's good. I like that. I think that sort of lighting can be done with lighting effects in Photoshop.
Yes.
Just FYI.
Right.
But it's old school.
It is
really
old school.
has been
We're dating ourselves here.
I don't know if people
The
know
new
about
kids
it.
don't-
It's like
don't know
that
about those
and
old school
lens
filters.
flare.
Yeah.
Those,
There's still a time and a place.
under render. We bling things out. The lens flare,
Yeah.
lighting effects.
I was thinking too that it was feeling like old school luxury, and it feels like my father's definition of luxury brand, and we want to appeal to
Younger
a
generation.
younger generation, mid-30s, something like that, and we want to age it down, freshen it up a little bit.
I do like the millennial pink on that previous slide.
Which one? This
As
one?
they call it.
Is
I
it
don't
called
know.
millennial
Pink?
Yeah, have you guys heard millennial pink? It's like a dusty pink.
No,
right?
I haven't.
Really?
Yeah.
All the young people are nodding, and I'm
Yeah.
like, what are we
Like, what
even
are you-
talking about?
what is this?
Millennial pink.
Millennial pink.
So
But-
this is kind of what she put together, and we want to pput some white in here, I think. When you have a really heavy palette like this, let me show you the wide view again. When you have a really heavy palette like this, it's too dark, and I don't want to feel depressed. So
Yeah.
we need to inject some white, some black in there, and
Make it fresher, younger, you know.
yeah, and make
More
more,
energetic.
take advantage of the patterns and do maybe in that millennial pink, the gold, or perhaps make a metallic green against a white background. I think that could look really cool. Okay, so we're not going to kill you by having you watch Emily build this. So for the sake of time, she sent me something else. I think at 7 o'clock this morning. So she's updated
Did you
it.
sleep?
I did, actually. I did.
Who is this woman? This is amazing.
I did.
Well, she knows what to expect. We gotta work. We
Yeah.
gotta do our best to represent ourselves well and to kind of show you guys as much as we can in the process. So, some words and things that I sent her last night was Arabic tiles, like floor tiles. So we were kind of trying to broaden up the patterns. And this one pattern in particular, let me step into that. This square one, which I'm moving my mouse, but you can't see this square one right there.
Oh, yeah.
That one.
Okay.
I thought that was really cool. And it's really basic. If you look at it, it's just black squares and green squares. But I thought that it had kind of a modern feel to it. And if Emily came up with some kind of symbol for emerald, maybe that little inner square could be replaced with whatever symbol she created
Be a
and then
pattern.
be repeated.
Yeah.
And when I was talking about trying to open it up and freshen it up, I was looking at this poster that she had, the gradient poster on that side, the far side over there somewhere. It looked like sheets of metal, and then that the light was catching it. It wasn't just like gradients to me, and so we pulled in images from the Disney concert hall with these reflective surfaces, so maybe that's an architectural thing, and that may come in handy if we're developing an entire system for this. It could influence architecture, signage, even furniture choices, but just to open up our mind as to what this could be. And another way that I thought we could freshen it up was, it doesn't matter what color you have. So if you have a really deep, dark green, if you surround it with white and some black, I think it gives it that contrast that you're looking for. Your eye wants to see colors or tones on opposite ends of the spectrum. So when you take white out of an image, it feels really flat and the spectrum isn't there. It's a trick that flat screen monitors companies, manufacturers have done you know how they put the black, really black bezel around the screen? It creates the illusion that the blacks on screen are actually blacker and the whites are whiter or whatever it is.
Just
So
like
you
our
wanna see that.
laptop too.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I thought that, excuse me, we want to pick some more shades of green and other colors to incorporate into this. So Emily's broadened the color palette because just working with that deep, deep green, that hunter green, emerald green that we have, it's going to weigh us down. And I think that needs to be an accent color versus washing the entire frame with that. So now you can see some of the choices that we're picking here are influenced by cosmetic brands and beauty brands just to bring that in. And one of the things I encourage people to do is if you're going to design for one vertical, if you want to find inspiration, try to look left and right of that vertical, look horizontally, not just at other airlines. So if you see something like a wallpaper from a film or something else that in your travels, you can pull from that. And that's where people usually will say, oh, that's fresh, that's new, that's different, I didn't think of that. That's what you bring in that's kind of unexpected.
Yeah, I like it. And it's like kind of tapping into the other brands that your target audience might be using too, right? Because I saw also the lotion, for instance, or whatever that is. I don't know. I don't know. But
Some
yes.
cosmetic thing.
Yeah, just made
cleanser.
from, I don't even know. Just the rarest, it probably has.
Tears of a whale.
Yeah, Tears of a Whale body lotion
Yeah.
that they've also purchased, but kind of in the same vein of that classy,
Yeah.
but still modern.
Yeah, and then something even on the, not on the super high end, but it has a really high end look is this shampoo bottle or soap dispenser from, I think it's from Muji, right, Emily?
Yeah.
So these two greens, and it's hard to use green, so this is another example of where if you have a really dark or difficult color to work with that a client gives you, put some white on it, put some black next to it, and then it'll kind of open up the possibilities. And Emily's included some translucent materials here with a gold stamp leaf. Did you doctor up these two M's, the silver metallic M's?
No, that was just,
really?
Yeah. I thought it went well
Dang.
with what we were doing. So.
I was gonna just give you credit for that, your Photoshop skills,
Should have
isolating.
said it.
Yeah, good
I
job.
did that.
You're so honest. But do you think, Emily, do you think about that? Like how, because here we see a lot of the foil and those materials. Do you think about that when you're like designing? I mean, or is that in your head?
I thought there's like different materials we can work with. There's the gold foil, there's some of that rose gold copper foil,
Rose
and
gold.
there's
Yeah, it's
like
millennial,
rose.
millennial pink,
Copper.
rose gold.
Millennial.
Yeah,
gold.
rose gold. I know that
Yeah,
color.
rose
Yeah,
gold.
Yeah.
And also I've got this birch wood on towards the left. So those are all materials and textures that we can use while we're designing. And because we're kind of mashing up the modern and the classic, I also included some of those wax seals and also
cool.
embossing. So I think that would play really
A little
well.
touch of like elegance and royalty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very cool. Yeah,
Like
I like
it.
it. Sounds like Chiara really likes the golden leaf. Want to hear what you loving it. Frankie is loving these layouts. So it sounds like you're kind of getting inspired from it. Is that also kind of the goal? Like you kind of have cool items that you've collected that are going to be your jumping off point?
Yeah, of course.
I think the stylescapes, the way that we use them is to help inform what we're going to do, but it's a communication tool with the client. And you're going to hear me talk about the client, the business side quite often. So before we go deep into exploration, before Emily loses herself in the design process, she wants to make sure that there's client buy-in. So at this point, we should be meeting with the client and presenting them these stylescapes and talking about what they like, what they don't like. And if they get really excited, now we know we're moving in the right direction, and we're not gonna get this thing undone at the 11th hour, the late cycle revision that we all dread when you're almost done and the client's like, you know, there's this other idea I wanna try.
Yeah, that's completely out of like left field.
Right.
And what's sad is as a client, like they have every right to do that. Do you see that, Chris, sometimes? Like clients just changing their mind.
Yeah.
Yes, when I was younger,
Yeah.
less so in the second half of my career. So I would say in the last 10 years, not so much anymore.
Okay.
And this is why I keep reiterating having this process and over communicating and sharing and making it collaborative, stepping away from the big reveal and having iterative reviews. And that helps to get away from the clients changing their mind at the last minute.
That's good, because like, I mean, nobody likes surprises. So they kind of know
No.
what to expect as long
Yeah.
as you're like communicating with them.
That's right.
Everybody's
And people
on the
like
same-
to see progress. Progress makes people happy. So when
Yeah.
you disappear into the design cave for a month or
Yeah.
however long, then they start to get worried that maybe you're not doing what it is that we all thought you were doing. That you've taken the money and you've run off to Cabo and that's what you're doing with your life.
You're doing some design down there. I don't know, just like on the ground research.
Right, you're being inspired by the beach.
Emerald waters. And Paul actually brings up a good question about font choices. Have you kind of thought about that a little bit? I know you have some here, but...
Right. When we have more time, or when we actually do this in real life, we actually do pay attention to the font choice, but because this is a fairly short project, it's kind of like long creative jam. But we're not really focusing on font at this point, but for the emerald, you know, bold, classy, ultra modern, those I just try to choose the most neutral typeface so the client don't get distracted.
Yeah, no, that's good.
Yeah, so are there any other questions that we can field before we move on to the actual designing? Anybody's got a question?
See if you got
like a legitimate question or something?
Do you make a stylescape before you've secured the client, and this is what draws them in?
We don't do any work before the client sends us a check, and this is something that I think you need to get into the practice of doing, that don't start working because you're so anxious and excited, and people say things and things change all the time. So the rule that we operate by is until you send me a check for 50% and that check clears, I'm not gonna get started. My throat is all, can I get a water? I'll just get up, right? I can do that, right?
We got you covered.
We got you
squared away.
I don't know why. It's just like,
got a frog in your throat.
It's always when you sit down and the camera's on. That's when
we were just
you need to go to the bathroom and then you're like, you have to sneeze, whatever the case is.
I'm gonna cough one big cough and see if I can get this thing out.
So I'm covering it up by what I'm saying.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Someone also asked why this size, and I think in one of our future videos we've talked about how it's kind of like a linear storytelling. What is that called? Motion we're doing from left to right.
Yeah.
We'll wait until Chris finishes.
No, I'm gonna let Emily try and talk her way through this one.
Why?
I'd like to see
you
explain. What are we doing?
Because somebody was actually asking.
Right, a lot of people are asking
why this long super cinemascope aspect ratio, because it looks very filmic. So we'll take a look at it again. Here we go. So it looks very filmic, and it has an unusual shape so that people don't get stuck on, oh, is this my website, or is this an ad, or what is this? So we get around those kind of conversations. And it's kind of very natural for us to look left to right in a horizontal space versus being very tall and vertical. We find that as you design a business card, the vertical business card is much harder to deal with because it gives you limited real estate left to right. The dimensions are much narrower. Okay, so that's why we use this aspect ratio. But you can make it 2 times wide, 3 times. This is 3 times wide. You can make it 4 times wide, whatever works for you. And if you really want to impress your clients when you have secured the work and you're doing this, you can actually print these things out quite large, mount them onto Gatorboard or a foam core, and walk in there and just go pow.
Yeah.
Right? Just lay them out on the. Yeah, it's like pow. What I would do though is to take some paper and fold it over so that they can't see anything until you're ready to reveal it. So that's kind of a nice little thing. Kind of you're unwrapping it and revealing it before their eyes.
A big reveal.
Big reveal.
But don't, like, honestly, you want to say papow, you want them to say papow or whatever. Like, the last thing you want to be like, bam! And then it's just like crickets.
That's what you showed me? How much did I pay you?
I'm sorry, I was getting a donut. What was that? Like, who knows?
Oh, you have a dark side to you.
I don't know. I just fear that, like, I'm like, why don't you like it? You know, like, he just, anyway.
Well,
I think everybody's reacting. Everybody really likes it. I get inspired off of seeing this.
Great.
Like, I want to design stuff. I've been, like, messing with things over here.
Nice.
Even though I'm not supposed to. I'm trying to get a job. I'm trying to get a job, guys.
Always be thinking about plan B, everybody. Always plan B. Here we go. So this should excite you. And if you can't see your design in this is why we kind of think of this as an early stage prototype. You're trying out ideas. A trial balloon is out there. And if we don't like this, I was impressed with what Emily did within a relative short amount of time yesterday, but I wasn't really excited about going down that old, I was thinking like Polo, the fragrance, you know, it has gold and that deep green, where you're gonna go into a dark woodsy kind of musky smell and that kind of, that's a style in itself.
The green is from mold.
Yeah,
We don't want that.
something like that, right? That
But I
didn't
see what you're
feel like
saying. That's
this
a
vibrant brand.
Because you were on, that was like the colors. This is
Yeah,
the whole
I mean,
foil.
I'll toggle back
Throw
and
some
forth
white in
here.
that
So look, we're not even really changing it that much, but these little tweaks can have a big impact on somebody's perception and their emotional reaction to it. Something you want to pay attention to. Here's a question from somebody. Let me scan it, just make sure it's not a troll thing.
Yeah.
Okay, so there's a question from Yuri. I hope I said your name right. What do you think of showing the stylescapes in the final presentation of the project page on portfolio? Is it a no-no, or is it a good way because you show the design process? Oh, excellent question. When we're presenting work, we like to show deep case studies for the projects that we're really proud of, and to show them the words that were selected and that you facilitated, the strategy, the positioning, the messaging, so then the stylescapes are part of that. What I like to do is to try to onboard prospective clients by showing them exactly how I work. This does a couple of wonderful things for you. One, it takes out the apprehension of somebody working with you, because they're like, oh, I see what I'm gonna get. It's very clear to me. It's not that I give you money, it goes into a mysterious black box, and I may or may not get what I want out from the other side, right? Yeah. So we're able to do that, that's good. And then if they hire you, you have to do less convincing, and you can say, this is what we're gonna do, because you saw that thing. And they may want to shortcut you on time or budget, and that's when you can fire back. You remember that project that you loved so much? The reason why it turned out that way is because we did it this way. If you want to shortcut it, maybe, again, I'm not the right person to work with or the right company to work with. And that's okay. All right.
That's good.
So I think we promised design, so we should get to it.
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
And we
So
can
let's
always
dive
answer. Feel free to keep the questions rolling.
Yeah.
I'm getting to work. What are you doing? Here.
Oh,
What are you just like, what are you doing?
I know.
We haven't gotten to it.
What do we
History
what do you
will
want us to
repeat
do?
itself again.
I think you're awesome, by the way. You already got a job offer here earlier. I don't
Yeah.
know
No, did she
about
really?
that. Yeah, they're like, I want to hire Emily.
Yeah. Can we hire her?
I think
She's just trying to save you
finder's
from,
fee.
She
Right
just
here.
wants the door.
Both of
she
us.
just wants the door unlocked. She's like, I just got to get out of here. Whatever it takes.
Okay, so let's get to it. We promised design, so we're going to show a lot of that. And while Emily's working on the computer, on the box, I will do some sketching on the side, potentially, and just kind of be riffing off one another, okay?
Right.
So Emily, you do your thing.
Yeah.
Sounds good. And feel free to just like, as you kind of launch into Illustrator and do your thing.
Yeah.
We're going to have a chat and win giveaway in 5 minutes. We have portfolio reviews as well. So feel free to be putting those together. And yeah, just going to have some fun.
Here's an easy question from Kevin Schneider, asking how much time do we spend building the stylescapes. We had said yesterday that we spend about a day per stylescape. That's the kind of pace I expect from the team. Sometimes I'll ask them for 2 stylescapes in a day, and that's well within their wheelhouse at this point. When you're first starting out, it may take you several days, and that's okay. You're learning, and it helps to have somebody who's done these things before, who has a very critical eye, who can help guide you through the process. Excellent question.
That is good. Awesome. Yeah, so you're just working in Illustrator. This is exactly what I...
Yeah,
and now you're just kind of rolling through.
Yeah.
There's no judgment here, by the way. Like, just do your thing. Don't...
I just type out the word, and then I have some of these, I didn't know you could do this until maybe like a month ago. You could favorite these fonts, because sometimes you have...
Yeah.
Oh,
What?
Dropping knowledge on you, Chris.
Boom!
I'm trying to give you a bigger reaction. I would just roll with that. Please.
That was good. No,
Yeah,
seriously.
because you have all these fonts that, like chalkboard, you're never gonna, use them. You can also delete them, but...
Because let's face it, like
also...
every designer, how many, I don't know, 1,000 fonts on your machine?
Right, I try not to load too many, because I've done
I
that
loaded
before.
away. Yeah, I load way too many, but I have like 5 that I use. So those
Exactly.
5 are just like
So
favorited.
if you star it right here and you click here, all these will be your favorite fonts, and it's just really easy to kind
have
of
lots
go
of
through them.
favorites.
Yeah.
Nice. I'd favorite you too.
Thank you.
Cheesy.
Favorite everyone.
Doesn't make it less true. Mind blow of the day. By the way, so you could also search in there. So if Emily wants a thin font, she's thinking, okay, that might be more elegant and modern. She can type thin up in that text field, and it will serve up all the fonts that have the thin associated with it,
Right.
which is kind of cool.
Really cool. Little Adobe trick.
Oh yeah. And by the way, like, it's really cool because as you are going through, you know, your stylescape or your mood board or whatever, you find an elegant, modern, and classic typeface out there. You could actually load that in either in Typekit in the browser, and it will identify the font from a JPEG, and Photoshop will also do that as well.
I want to take a moment now while Emily is hunting and pecking around for her favorite fonts. I want to talk a little bit about the references that we found yesterday. So we became aware, thanks to you, Paul, that there was Enterprise Emerald class, and I was a little nervous about that.
Yeah.
Until I actually searched for it, and it kind of looks like butt, so we're okay there. I think they just call it by name. It's not really well branded, right? But the thing that concerns me a lot is that there's a very prominent design for Chase Sapphire. And it's some beautiful design work. I'm sure they hired a really good branding firm to do that. So what we want to do is to steer away from anything that looks like that, and it kind of starts to box us in a little bit. Like, what the heck are we going to do? So I was thinking a little bit about the color, and when light is refracted through any kind of translucent, transparent material, it's going to break it up in multiple tones. And that's why I was excited about the gem that you found and the different color facets that was coming off of the faceted surfaces and the color. So I was thinking maybe there's an opportunity for us to do something with duotone. That could be kind of cool, you know, like different shades of green.
Yeah.
And we could even introduce a little of that rose gold in there somehow, maybe.
Yeah, I think you're onto something really good there, because like even my tendency as we start to go down this road, and we could start there. It's not where we're gonna end up, but it's like nothing is just like one color gradiating to another color. It's not really how real life works. It's not a linear gradient. And I think the nuance in like Chase Sapphire, it's like there's, I don't know, it's just it's much more dynamic.
Different shades, and it's not, like you said, linear from point A to point B. There's other things that are happening.
It's like with shadows. Shadows are never really black. They're not black. Even you learn this when you like paint. It's going to be a dark blue, or you're taking up. You're never even allowed to use black. Typically in a painting class, you're supposed to mix your own, but it's not going to be black. And that's how we're able to tell if something's fabricated. Is I don't know.
Right. I think now you're getting into color theory, right? And we learned this in design school. If you have a warm light source, you're going to have a cool shadow, complementary shadows. If you have a cool light source, your shadows are going to be warm. So very rarely is it going to be that you have 100% neutral light. Therefore, your blacks will have a warm or a cool tint to it. Yeah. So I'm sitting here, and I think it was like early this morning when I got up, waiting for Emily's next stylescape to arrive. I was sitting there thinking, okay, so we have what we would consider the typical explorations associated with a precious stone, a diamond, sapphire, ruby, emerald, that kind of thing. I was thinking, like, what if you put your eye up to one and you look through it? That would create a kaleidoscopic effect. And so maybe the way that we treat photography can hint at this idea of this emerald thing. And we'll get more into how we might interpret that. And of course, when light is pushed through an object like this, you'll get refracted light. Maybe there's something that's cool about that. I'm looking at faceted surfaces too. And I'm going to show you some examples in a little bit with the mirror. Does this mean something's happening? Fireworks?
Oh, yes, it
Chat and
does.
win.
All right.
Stuff's always
Did we
happening.
win something?
I think somebody won something.
All right, what did he
So
win?
We're going to dive into chat and win
Tell
right
us, Paul.
now. Let's do it. Welcome back, everyone. Diving into chat and win. All you have to do is say something in chat as much as you want, or as little, but honestly, you want to say more. We want to make sure somebody's there.
Say something substantive.
Be like, hey,
Come on.
We love
say
corgis.
something really deep that, just anything that will you'll be immortalized with. Just kidding. It could be "oh crop" because that's what this little pin says.
Oh, crap.
Oh crop, fun puns. And then these are like Tatley temporary tattoos.
Oh.
Oh, wow.
Which is some
Put it like across your forearm or
Right?
something.
I think your forehead, Emily.
or your
No!
or your
Show your
shoulder.
love.
That is so...
P.S.
I love
I
you.
like the idea of if you already have a tattoo, you'd put the tools palette like next to it, and then maybe you have a pin, like it just got drawn on your arm. That's what I was thinking. design nerd stuff. But this could all be yours. We will draw that name. The Adobe Live team will, and we will get that out to you. Oh crop.
Oh crop.
Berlin.
Who could it
Nice.
be?
Where's the live team today?
They are here.
Where?
Gus is everywhere and nowhere at the same time. He's basically part of the Matrix.
Oh crop, it's Roy.
Oh! Roy Cranston. What? You're a
Congrats,
browner.
congrats.
I have a fancy pin that designers will get, and they will snicker. And then also, in case you don't want to wear the pin,
Crop it like it's hot.
crop it like it's hot.
Did somebody write that?
Yeah.
Crop it like
All right.
it's hot. I love it. So we'll get that out to you. That's Chat and Win. We also have the portfolio reviews happening, so check out that tab. Stay with us. Again, we have you for 2 hours today. We're doing some mad designing right now. Do we say that anymore? Do kids say mad?
No.
I knew it. That's one of those words that kind of dates me. I say if something's like mad
Like,
sick.
no. Yeah.
Like nobody says mad sick. Neither do I, by the way.
That's like 2 words that people don't say anymore.
Yeah, exactly.
Mad and sick, right?
And I combined them.
I think you should just say one
10,
more and just
24.
push it over the
I
top.
was trying to be embarrassing, but yes. I'm often embarrassing on accident all the time. But on your point real fast, I'm going to show you this because I think this is kind of cool.
What is that?
Let's get it to render. You were talking about like refracting light.
Yeah.
And I initially started with Photoshop, so we'll just like switch over here. I
Okay,
was
what
working
are we
in
looking at here?
Photoshop. This was just like, this is an emerald actually that I think you guys liked yesterday, so I kind of picked this up.
Yes,
Started
I do
working
love
with
that.
which is like way cool. I was also in Illustrator, so I was trying to, you know, do gradients in Illustrator and Photoshop, and nothing was looking right, to be honest with you. Because I liked your idea of the things refracting. So this is not pulling it off, by the way, this sphere. So I opened up Dimension. So here's a dimension down here. Let's like move that over, which allows you to composite imagery together and to like almost, you know, simulate a real world environment. Disregard the plane, because again, I'm just showing you the refraction that's happening in this case. All I did was grab see right over here, like a diamond type shape off to the side.
These are
and then-
preset shapes that you...
Yeah, just a preset shapes, and then preset right over here, materials. And I literally just jumped in. I'm like, okay, there has to be a green. And I found this green glass,
Wow.
dropped it on that 3D shape. And I can even start to play with it more. So this is the rendering, so we're getting some of that refraction, but it's still too clear.
Yeah,
you know?
it's not changing the image enough.
Yeah,
Right?
exactly.
So can you change the refractive index on it?
Yeah, that's what I jump in, take this, and you can see right over here, here's my crystal, here's the green glass. As I select that, I'll scroll down, and we can dive into like how rough it is, and we go down to the
There it
index
is.
of a refraction.
Pump
we kind
that
of
baby
crack
up.
that up. What I love about this is if you roll, because first of all, refraction, translucence, what does all that stuff mean? If you roll over the name, it gives you a little example right there. So
How
we
much
could
it
have-
bends the light, right?
Yeah.
The refractive index.
Yep. And even density, like, okay, so this is how much green gets added to it. If we wanted to crank that up just a touch, we could already start to see it change. And actually, I'm going to take that down because I know I don't like it because I get a render preview right here. Right, so we're starting to see that, and I'll index of
Your
refraction.
computer's
Let's
starting
crank
to
that up.
heat up here. Is that you or is that
That's
Emily?
mine.
Yeah.
Mine's like taking off like an airplane.
Starting to pan.
Right.
Complete with sound effects. Oh,
Look at
whoa.
that.
Oh.
Snap.
So, and anyways, so we can add more facets to it and all sorts of things. But that might be a good place just to do a snapshot that I might use later. But that's...
Can we see you render one out at a high quality and perhaps turn off the background? Because I think this would work better with just what you see through the emerald and not the background. That way Emily can play around with it.
Yeah,
maybe
I can
for
just do
the
a
application.
just a general
there we go.
cast gradient. Let's match this, all sorts of things, but let's just create. I could add different lighting, and that'll actually make it look more shiny if I have more light sources. So I can do a 3-point soft overhead, for instance. That's going to change how it looks. See, that's you're
Very
starting to get a little
interesting.
bit more.
Wow.
But I'll work on this. some
And
more.
how high, like how the quality of the render, is it really photoreal?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, this is V-Ray, like on the back end or under the hood, if you will, which is a really high quality renderer. I'm gonna crank up the size,
Right.
and I'll also render this bad boy out in well, I could do a PSD, well, I will, and I can go for like high quality, that sort of thing. So we can get something.
And then totally
good.
kill your computer.
You could already hear the fan going.
Like running
and that's
a
like,
marathon.
honestly,
It's
like,
anticipating the
welcome-
work. You haven't even told it to work yet.
Yeah.
Which is hilarious.
I'm like, welcome to 3D, because that's what 3D does, man.
Yeah, I hear you.
If anybody does 3D out there, by the way, like, hats off to you. First off, your rendering is not done yet, but hats off to you.
Yeah, Jan.
You're always waiting for a render.
Eric.
You can't go to the bathroom without starting a render. You can't go to lunch without starting a render. That's what life happens between renders, I feel. Like, anyway, I'll stop.
I was going to read his comment. It says, Jan Eric Evanston says, Dimensions is my bae. Now, I'm going to have to say this, and hopefully this doesn't come across weird. For many, many years, I bought the Creative Suite package.
Yeah.
And then when you guys switched over to the subscription, I was like, oh, I see. Adobe wants to take all my money now. Yeah. And I think there was some resistance internally. But now I have to say, years into the subscription model, I love the fact that I don't have to decide what software packages I want, because part of your Creative Cloud, you get it all the time, all the updates, and the updates come in quite frequently. So a program like Dimensions I might not pick up, but since it comes with my subscription anyways, why not play around with it and do something with it?
Yeah, good point. And we did not pay him to say that or
No.
anything. Like, there's not a teleprompter.
The check is in the mail, right?
The teleprompter, he's reading off the
The fireworks should be going off behind me right now.
And you win, chat, and win. No, I don't know. That's how you win, chat, and win. You say nice things about us? No. But no, it's a good point, because it just appears.
Yeah.
Like, oh, this is a new little thing that's here today. So,
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know how we keep the lights on.
Okay.
Sometimes.
So let's do this like Iron Chef style, but it's like Iron Designer. And let's check in with Emily. Emily, so what have you got for us today?
You think E is for Emerald, but it's really for Emily.
Oh yeah, that's why I'm emphasizing it on the E,
You're
right?
like,
Yeah.
Right.
So, whoa. We were doing a little conversation, and Emily's been busy at work right now.
Right.
Okay, so what the heck have you done?
I've listed down all the typefaces that I usually like in caps and title case. I don't think with this brand, usually I do lowercase as well, but I think for this brand, we're not really gonna do lowercase.
Okay. Why is that? What's your rationale for that?
I think this brand is just more serious, and lowercase tends to not be as serious. And I had a vision already where I'm thinking I'll be using all caps, so I'm gonna stick with that for now and see where we go. And some of the ideas that that we have is having the E turned upside down, or not upside down, like
on the side.
On the side, so it's a crown, like flying.
Ooh.
Yeah, like an abstract E, but it also doubles as some kind of crown. And it's hard to do crowns without it being too over the top. So I like the simple geometric approach that you're doing. And this is where you guys will notice the stylescapes come in really handy, because there was a lot of line work, those monoline diagrams and drawings. Oh, there it is.
Right here.
Like
I always
had it ready.
have the stylescape ready on the logo. When
In
I'm
case I walk
looking
by.
No, yeah, in case he walks by and checks up on me.
Yeah. No, so that's good, because we're using this as our kind of palette and our compass. And this is really an important thing. You keep working, now I'm going to talk about this, all right? It seems like every time I talk, you stop working.
Yeah, I can't talk,
You
walk
can't
and
listen.
chew gum at the same
you
time.
just do
I
your
can't
thing.
either. Trust
So
me.
one of the things that you don't want to get into the habit of doing is to choose words and then create a stylescape that has no relationship to the words that you and the client agreed upon. And then when you create the stylescape and you actually go to design, the design does not even reflect the stylescape, so what's the point? And you're starting over. You're creating unnecessary work for yourself. You're creating potential conflict with a client. And you're going through the motion, but you're not really believing in your own process, and that's really important. So once we have a process set up, and Emily's worked with me for a number of years, unofficially as a student or an intern, and then as an employee, and she knows, because the first thing that we're going to ask any designer is, tell me how this relates to the words that we chose, or tell me how your design is reflective of the stylescape that we sold to the client. It has to be within those boundaries. And actually, once you embrace that process, it can be very liberating, Because notice, if we looked at every single typeface, upper and lowercase, all uppercase, and then all lowercase, there's too many variables. And then if all the designs in the world can work, that's where that stress comes in. So let the stylescape be your guide, and you can be your own art director in that way. So once you show a particular design to the client, use that as your compass, as your way of finding home in case you get lost in the design process.
Yeah. That's good. That's why you have it right up there. I like what you're, now, Emily, when you're designing this, are you like, I feel like most designers kind of pull from tips and tricks and things. Are you doing that? Like, I don't know, like.
What do you mean tips and tricks?
Like, you know, you sometimes know, if you say modern, I kind of know what that means. I kind of think it's going to be sans serif, and there might be a certain number of fonts that I might pick. I know I'm going to do, kerning is going to be extra spaced out because it just seems more elegant that way.
I think it's from when I'm just not doing anything at work, I try to go on Behance. I have a whole collection in my profile just to see what's out there. There are so many great designers on Behance, and I just collect them into folders, hoping that in the future, when we do branding projects, I know exactly which project to pull from when we do stylescapes. So I think through that, I know what works and what doesn't. And so with a brand like this, the tracked out, you know, all caps looks really good.
So it really
that's
does.
what I tend to go for.
And can you go back to your typeface selection, Emily?
By the way, you can follow Chris and Emily. If you go to the info tab, you can go ahead and click follow, and you'll follow their Behance profiles that way.
Okay, great. So when I looked at this, there's a couple of typefaces or configurations that jump out at me. I like this one right here. Can you highlight that one? That one right there. That one looks really good. And also this serif one looks really good to me. So those are the two that kind of jump out at me. And there's a certain weight to it. I don't know if it's the proportion and the stroke weight and all that kind of stuff. It feels really good. And that's what we're looking for, because you're really just designing a custom alphabet for these. How many letters is this? 7 letters?
Yeah.
That's really what you're looking for. You're looking for the best configuration relative to the letters of the word or of the company's name. And those are nice. And I'm just curious, this is a different typeface you chose here, huh?
Yeah, it is.
Is it not part of your selection?
Not the ones that you chose.
No, but is it anywhere in
here?
here?
Yeah, it is.
Which one is it?
It's this one, I think. Yep.
Oh, like
it's
about
just
heavier
a
weight?
bolder, yeah.
Oh, so you're tricking me now. That's our relationship, huh?
Yeah, tricking you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's this font.
I'm also
It has a lower X height. Okay. It's got that art, like when you have a really high X height, what era of design are you thinking versus a lower X height?
a higher X height.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like when you have a really low X height, sometimes it might feel a certain way. Like high X height is that like Western or something? Or really tall condensed typefaces. Lower X height, I feel like it's part of like the Art Deco look, where the bowl of the R is really big relative to the foot or leg.
I could see that.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, you typographers, you fontologists, whatever you are out there, you let us know. We're just making stuff up here, trying to fill dead air.
I like the thought of, I'm also thinking about like emeralds and refraction and like hard edges and stuff.
That reminds me, I need to finish these points here.
Oh yeah.
Because Emily and I had this conversation beforehand, because we don't want to just show up naked and unprepared. So we're talking about faceted surfaces.
They put on shirts.
Yeah.
Yes, we did. No pants, but shirts. So this thing, like maybe instead of just looking through something, that there can be a mirror. So that's a different look, and I'll show some things that might remind you guys of that. But this idea that the 4 C's, cut, clarity, color, and carat. But the word that stuck out to me was cut. You know, as in a cut above or a cutting edge. So perhaps
that's gonna be fun.
We take a letter form and we just shear off just in very kind of, just a hint of it. We don't overdo it. Whoa, did you already do it? Emily, don't move too fast.
She didn't mess around. Like,
oh
I'm
my
sorry,
gosh.
I missed it. She
Guys,
moved too
holy
fast.
cow. We
While
cut off
we
her
were
screen for 1
talking-
second and 4 other logos pop up.
No, just.
Okay, whatever. Okay,
Whatever.
so this is a standard sans serif typeface, right? And then Emily's gone in and put some white boxes over it.
Right.
You did have this somewhere. But that's okay, it's fine.
Yeah. Right now we're just doing
I have no
quick
idea what you're
sketches.
talking about.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
There's something pretty cool about this.
How
Now
do
there's
you
some
like
funkiness
it?
too, you know, but it kind of has that nice faceted reference. And so this is where I think we can do something that still feels new and not be derivative of Chase Sapphire.
I'm loving this. Let us know what you think.
At some point, I think we'll have 4 logos to look at or configurations,
Oh, okay.
and then we'll ask the wonderful live stream audience which one do they want us to pursue to the final round, and we'll refine it at that point.
Yeah.
So right now, I think even though we're working digitally, it's okay to kind of keep it loose and not get too married. Like things do not have to be perfect at this stage. It's better that you just try stuff, right? Like if those angles aren't perfect or they're not lining up to each other, that's fine. And this is where I think old school graphic designers, your professors probably will tell you, an idea must start on a paper. And I don't necessarily agree with that at all. If you're really proficient with the tools and you know how to work and not be overly committed, and you know how to bend the wheel of the machine and the software around your ideas, no problem. I think what we're talking about here is use tools that don't get in your way to be as fast as possible with your ideation process. And that's why paper works really well, especially when you're unplugged and you're out of juice or away from a connection. But as you can see here, Emily can actually probably explore more ideas faster than I could if I were to draw. Maybe on that note, I should try to draw something. Maybe?
Yeah, give it. Like
Okay.
we're all just kind of experimenting.
Okay.
Like
Yeah.
this is it's
And
kind
then
of like
Paul?
a fun day.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Fun day?
You know, I
Alright.
think so. Like, because
do
there's
whatever.
nothing's wrong yet. Like it's like brainstorming. There are no wrong ideas really at this point, because you're just experimenting. Right?
Exactly. Yeah.
Oh, there's wrong ideas.
Oh.
We just don't know it yet. I know.
Good.
That's the problem.
Whoever is making some progress, I suppose, then they should talk, and then we'll cut to their screen.
Yeah. And I'm just kind of curious, what font like is that one that you're working with?
Campton.
Campton.
Oh, I
I've
might
never even
not
heard of
know
that font before.
Yeah, I might not have that, but that's all good.
And I think something that Emily's doing intuitively that I'll try my best to articulate is that one configuration with this kind of specially designed E on its side that kind of looks like a crown too, or a flower or lotus or something opening up. And then she's got the logo type, the word mark, and then something underneath it by Emirates. And I think she put that in there because she wants to create a balance between having a larger object on top and something on the bottom. Now, right now, Emerald by Emirates works pretty well, but I think that's a good place for maybe a tagline if we had a copywriter to work it in there, to put something there. That could balance it pretty well. And there's some refinement that needs to take place here in terms of the distance between the symbol, the word mark, and the tagline. It's not perfectly resolved, but that's okay.
Right.
Yeah.
And Emily's
Still
creating
in
some kind
the-
of grid right now, and it's not perfectly drawn either.
Nope, but
My
we're,
OCD is kicking in, but we're sketching.
We're sketching,
We're totally
yeah.
sketching, and it's
Once
totally
the
fine.
client picks the logo, then we go into
Yeah.
refining, then we will make it perfect. But for now, it's just to get the idea across, yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to do old school here just as a point of comparison. Does this camera work yet? I want to make sure they can see
Yeah, we can go
this.
ahead and
Does it work?
switch over to it.
Ooh, look at that. So fancy with your technology. So I think what I'm going to do is just start to draw. And basically, a lot of times people will use the first letter and try to create emphasis around the first letter. But that's not always going to give you the best and most aesthetic solution. So I just want to get a feel for the words or the letters I'm working with right now, so I'm just going to draw it out, right? I'm using a ballpoint pen here because Emily took my pencil. I don't know why.
Oh, really? This
Yeah,
one?
that's okay.
Oh, I'm not doing anything.
Yeah,
so
I know
you
you're
can
not
just
doing
use
anything.
it.
That's a
I'm just gonna
nice.
tell.
That's a cool.
So there we go.
It's
Just wrote
very
something
really
out, right?
cool.
And I was thinking, you know, what if we do something with an M? I think there can be something cool. Because an M, there's a lot of ways to interpret that M. So if we do something like this, where we take two triangles, and I think I want to do it where they kind of cross over a little bit. Like that. And then we can put everything else on the same baseline and the cap height. Just want to work really fast and rough here. So I'm obviously tracked this out too far. That's okay. But instead of filling this in, because I think it's going to get really heavy, if I were to fill all of this in, that would be this like black ink spot right on the page. So instead, what I want to do is maybe try this thing where I'm going to create stripes through it. Hopefully that works, something like that. And while you're drawing, the cool thing about either sketching on a computer or by paper and pen is that other ideas might come to you, where there might be an overlap, where I could draw it like this and have this come back up the other side, and this go up this side. A lot of different ways there, how to interpret this. So there's kind of a woven effect. Can't really see. I'm going to try to use this pencil. I realize I want to work faster. And then it can go up this way. This one can go up this way. And it can be separated via a little space here. Does this eraser work? Let's see. And I could space that out, right? So just exploring ideas. And another thing I wanted to try to explore real quick, let me just turn the paper here, is to try to do maybe a serif version, to just quickly lay something out. And I think the smaller you draw it, the easier it's going to be, because when you draw something really big, you tend to get all into the details, and at this stage, that's not a good idea. So let me try something here. I'm just going to write emerald out, but a more elongated typeface. So let's do this. Gus, are we okay? I hear a lot of whispering over there. It's making me nervous. It's like Chris is going off the rails again. I told him not to do that.
Oh, okay. We have Adobe Live inside Adobe Live.
All right.
Like we're showing both screens right now.
So this is fairly typical to draw out a word, but just use the width of your pencil to kind of create the stroke, right? But if you want to create a serif typeface where there's contrast between the thicks and thins, I always get confused, like what should be thick and what should be thin. And hopefully I got this right, because I always get confused, right? If you remember when people were first drawing alphabets, they would hold a reed, and a reed would have like an angled edge to it, like it would be like that. So when you're drawing, so instead of it being a pointed nib, like if this were the tip, it would be at a chiseled edge like this. I hope the drawing makes some sense here, okay? So the tool that you're using will influence the mark that you're making. So if we hold the chisel or the reed at an angle, just keep in mind it's usually like a 45-degree angle or some kind of angle. The downstroke, when you pull it down this way, will be thick. Let me move the paper over. So when I pull down, but when I push up, because it's at that 45-degree angle, it'll be thinner. So downstrokes tend to be thick and upstrokes tend to be thinner. Now you'll see, I'll get into this. This side of the M should be a little bit thicker, right? And the upstroke won't be as thick. Because I want to do a serif typeface now, not a sans serif typeface. That's okay. So here we go. This will be thin because it's going up, and this will be thicker because it's going down. And then do this. So I'm starting to give it some shape and some body to the typeface. Because I want it to be a serif, I'm going to add the little serif in there. And I want to do something cool or different with the A and just do something, maybe because I'm inspired by the gems and the shape of those things, so this should be thicker or something like that. Start to fill this in. And what you're trying to do when you're designing any kind of logo type word mark like this is you're trying to find a nice and tight configuration with the letters that you have. The problem areas are going to be the A because it's a different shape, and the L. You're going to spot that right away. So the rule of thumb is the worst kerning pair, the two letters that are the most difficult to kern together, determine the space of the overall word mark. So in something like this, the reason why it's tracked out so far is because we know the R, the A, and L are going to be problematic. So if you make the other letter forms too tight, it's going to look like there's a giant hole here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why the extra wide like kerning is really helping that problem.
Now you can go in and you can design a different A, because that's a solution that some people will do. So if you design the A with a flat top, well, why don't we do that? Let me just erase this A, okay? Let's try again. And since I can't draw and talk and chew gum at the same time, if there are any questions that you guys have, make sure you throw them in the comments. So I'm gonna have a flat top A now to help have it occupy more space. Maybe that'll help me a little bit. Or it could look totally ugly, and that's okay.
You're kind of messing with the A too.
Yeah,
Is everybody
just
messing with A's?
doing your ideas in real time.
What am I doing?
You're creating
I think
ideas
it's like
for me.
lo-fi versus like computer versus lo-fi. Like,
And I was thinking here, it probably needs some kind of tagline, like a cut above or something underneath it. Maybe tighter in its configuration. Okay, so that's one exploration. Let me try another one. Any questions so far?
No, they're like, looks great, thanks. We can talk about sub-brands and stuff a little later.
Okay.
Because I think that's what like day 3 is all about, like taking whatever we end up with and how can it be interpreted.
This one I'm gonna try and draw a little bit bigger. So I'm gonna take something like this. I know that the M, I want a little wider than it is tall, so I'm gonna space it out. So I'm gonna find the center point like right around there and draw a triangle, right? 2 triangles. And I was thinking, okay, that's an abstract M. I can work with that. But what if we wanted to play off this kind of gem quality to it? So then I was thinking, why don't I just cut this up into pieces and see what that might look like? So maybe we do an arbitrary line here. Maybe bring something down, like a bunch of triangles. Kind of what you were doing yesterday, Paul. Just breaking it into, oops, I can't even draw a straight line. What is my problem? I can't blame the alcohol.
It's all good.
Didn't have any. And then maybe...
Welcome everybody. I saw Shauna Parmesan in the chat, so I wanted to welcome you.
That's a regular?
Yeah, she's a streamer. She does actually a lot of hand lettering and kind of goes along with what Roy's asking about whether you develop an entire typeface for the logo.
That's next level.
Or just modify some characters of an existing. And just honestly think about if you are modifying a typeface, it's kind of like if you're modifying somebody else's photo, it's not really yours to like pass out, if you will, because somebody worked hard to make that and you just modified it and you're giving it out as your own thing. Like it's a whole thing there. I honestly think that most people love the idea of creating a typeface for a client, but nobody ever does. Nobody ever gets around to it.
Right, unless it's for big companies, you know. I think Netflix recently developed their own font.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay, I could see that.
IBM did too. Really big, successful companies can afford to hire master letter form designers to create their own customized typeface. Greg Lindy is a really well-known person who does that.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
Greg Lindy?
Yeah, he did, I think, designed typefaces for some of the big pharmaceutical brands so that it's all cohesive, like Sudafed. It has its own typeface. And he's a professor, former colleague of mine at our center.
Nice.
Yeah. So what I'm doing here is I'm going old school. I'm doing the gradient fill, guys. So I just want to kind of create something.
Roy, clever. Really big companies like Emirates.
Yeah, companies that can afford.
This was legit, and like, yeah, I mean, it is legit in terms of design, but it's also free design work.
So Paul, can you see what I'm doing here? So like if you created something like that using dimensions, it would look really super hot with the gradients and all that kind of stuff, right? So I do want to take a moment to do kind of a little design public service announcement here. And you're going to hear me say this: do not design logos with gradients. Don't do it. And yet here I am, I'm rendering it out. And the reason why is I want to make sure that inherently this design works in one color. And sometimes gradients can be very tricky to reproduce. And I know that's a little old school, but I still believe in the old school because I'm an old fool. But what I can do here is I know that this shape's going to work filled in. So the one color version will work. And then this would be the grayscale version, and the CMYK version could be what you produce, Paul. It could turn out really cool, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So that's just me sketching a little bit. Maybe I'll sketch a little bit more later. Should we check in on Emily and see what she's doing?
Yeah, I'm trying to do another version of the M. I think I did it like this, but I see your sketches. You don't have this vertical bar here. So I'm trying to get rid of that.
Like, I want to cut it off.
Yeah,
it's
so I'm
sharp.
trying to do that.
It's interesting how you're drawing it. Why don't you walk us through how you're drawing it? Because I'm sure Paul and I would draw it very differently.
Yeah, I just had a triangle here, and I got rid of this line, and I just repeated this. And then when I'm recreating this one over here, I don't know if you can see my mouth. Oh, okay. You can see
we can see it.
I'm just taking elements from this existing logo that I have already created and just using the elements.
I'm going to fire up Illustrator myself and perhaps show a new youngster whippersnapper like yourself, a trick or two maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe. Or I could
Let's do it.
totally F up and just blow up in my
Hey,
face.
that's what that's what
it's about,
this
like
is
screwing
all
up on my
about.
TV.
Yeah, and honestly, like we've been doing these daily challenges. A good time to mention it. We have an XD Daily Creative Challenge,
XD!
which is all about just an opportunity to make something and to mess up and just ultimately build out a portfolio. And there's also the Photoshop Daily Creative Challenge. So there are two things going on, just so you know. And ultimately, we are just playing. As you fire that up and you change things around.
Yeah, I'm going to switch my screen settings so that it can be mirrored instead of.
You're good. I think I found something that works that looks a little bit better. I noticed as I started adding more crystals, I get the reflection of one crystal in another crystal. So I'm getting some more interesting things in dimension, just so you know.
Okay.
And you can obviously like see it kind of like right up here, that little render preview. So I could get some interesting things. I did one render out, but again, that's just kind of the start of things happening. So now you know.
Okay. Very cool.
Cool background.
Okay, so what I want to do here, if this works, is I'm going to draw a box. Like I got a box.
Chris got a box.
I'm on a box, yo. Okay, so I'm going to change the stroke up a little bit here. I don't like to work with the trackpad. This is not my weapon of choice.
But we had to cram us all up here, so we're all T-Rex arms.
It's all right.
Little T-Rex arms.
Oops. I'm going to use the direct selection tool if I know how to do this correctly, and delete that. I will select these things, these 2 points, shift select and hit Command J to join. And you guys know, if you watch our channel, I'm all about the shortcuts. That's how you separate the pros from the amateurs. Anyway, so I'm going to copy this, okay? And I'm going to paste in front, Command F. I'm going to move that, holding, I guess I copied the whole thing. I didn't mean to do that, but that's okay. I'm going to move it down here. I'm also going to grab this and copy it to the clipboard. Is that called the clipboard? I'm going to delete that. And I'm going to move this guy.
Oh.
Don't do it
Yeah,
yet.
his way is
And then
smarter.
do Command 5. So when you have a sketch, when you sketch beforehand, then you kind of know what you're doing and you're going to take the least number of steps to get there. So what I'll do is then I'll drag this out to the same point over here. This is where I get a little tricky. It's not going to be perfect, but I just want to show you a different way of doing it. And then I'm going to use the blend tool, which is what? What's the shortcut for that? I forgot. Is it M? W. Wrong. So you hit the letter W. So this is one way you can train yourself to learn the keyboard shortcuts, which is to hover over something and say W, and then don't allow yourself to pick that tool and hit W. So I believe you can just click on here, old school way of doing it, and then you double click on it, or I could have held down the option and clicked, and I'm going to do specified steps. And I want to hit preview here so that I can see what's going on, right? So maybe there are 3 copies. Hit OK. So now I know they're going to be evenly spaced, and then I can increase the stroke, which if you had a mouse, I can do it here. I don't know if you guys know this. If you're long-time people who tune into the live stream, I'm sure you guys have covered these kind of shortcuts where you hover over the window where you can type in the variable, and if you scroll with your mouse or you use your 2 fingers here, you can increase the stroke width. And now I know that they're always going to be equidistant from each other. And if we determine that that's too many strokes, or actually I want more black and less negative space for whatever reason, I can adjust it that way. Now somebody's going to be watching this like, there's going to be a problem, Chris. And yes, there will be a problem, because if I were to mask it off, let me just zoom in here. If I zoom in here, hello. If I zoom in here, you can see that if I were to mask it off inside this triangle, why don't I just do it? I'm going to paste in front, and I'll bring this to the front, select all, is it Command 7? Boom. Now you see the problem, right? This one, since it's a stroke, and it lines up with the edge of the mask, this one's going to be too thin. So what's the best way to solve that, Paul?
I have no idea.
Really? I thought I was setting you up for the softball.
There's probably like a couple different ways. You're going to do an offset path.
I guess. So there's.
Show me how you do it.
I didn't even know how to do it, to be honest. I was hoping that you would save me on this
that's
one.
so funny.
I set you up for an answer I do not know.
At this point, I probably just like eyeball it.
Yes, you can eyeball it, but let's do it scientifically.
Yeah, if you
because it bugs me, right?
Yeah.
What are you gonna say?
I was gonna say if you know the widths of the.
Yes. Now you know where I'm going with this. I'm gonna delete. Oops. I'm gonna delete my mask for a second here. No need to panic yet. Now, if I look up the stroke width on this, and then I know half of it is how much I need to move it in, right? So the stroke width is 35. That's a crazy number, Chris. Stupid. Let me do 40. Let me do
See,
40.
Brian Jones, I don't think inside stroke will work since...
I was thinking that something like that would work, right?
Yeah, but since it's a line, what's inside versus outside?
Right. There is no inside.
Yeah.
It's just one line. But I know that, okay, first of all, there's too many of these things, so I got to double click on this again. I'm going to reduce it down to 2. Okay? Because I need to move this one in and then this one up. So if I select this here, if I double click on the move tool, I'm going to move it 20 points. So I want to move it -20, -20, right? Paul, help me out.
Yeah.
Yeah. Dude, I need your hand on this. Commit with me.
Go ahead and
hit. Okay. Let me hit preview.
Yeah.
No, it moved it the wrong way. What happened?
You're doing the verticals -20 when
So
you
it
probably
should
don't need to
be
mess.
Vertical, maybe it's 20.
Plus 20. So
Yeah.
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 Boom. But now it's not on. It was a 40-point stroke. I'm moving at 20 points. Why is this not working?
What were you trying to do? It didn't move it the...
No, it didn't move it the way that I wanted to. That's okay. I got another way to do this. Theoretically, if the stroke is 40, it should be 20 on each side of the stroke. And then if I moved it 20, it should be okay.
Yeah.
Maybe I need
since
maybe,
it's at an angle, it
should I
gets a
move
little
it 10?
tricky.
Is it? -10? Some math magician, let us know. We're designers here. Oh, there it is. It is 10. For whatever reason, it's 10. No. It's pretty close,
There's some other things you could do, like, I'm sure somebody's mentioned this, like, Yuri says this, no, it's not 20. Sean says move it 10, which you just tried.
I tried, and it's very close.
You could also just outline the stroke, and
Yes,
then you could snap it.
That's where I'm gonna snap it, because it's gonna snap me. What I need to do is make
numbers
this a
and
little
design.
thicker.
I don't know. I don't, as a designer.
Yeah.
I mean, I like numbers, but I'm like.
So I have a couple of problems with
I'm
this.
I'm not a math.
You're not a math
What's
dude?
the maths? I don't like the maths.
So what I want to do now is I'm going to probably just outline this whole thing. Object, path, expand path, right? I think. I have to do it one more time. I think path, outline.
Should be outline stroke.
Yeah.
So object.
There it is. My mouse.
Outline stroke.
Stroke right there.
Yeah.
You guys see that? Outline stroke, boom. And I'm gonna go into preview mode, which is Command Y. For the old school people, this is the only way we used to be able to work because the computers were not fast enough. Now I can just select this and move it and snap it to that point. Oh, snap.
It's true.
Right?
Nick was using this, was in outline mode a lot, which is like really pretty helpful.
It is. Oops. For some, this was like me, this was the only way to go before because you couldn't see what you're doing while you were working on it.
Levi Jones said to offset the path by 40 pixels or 40 point. We're beyond that.
No, we're
We
Levi,
tried.
what's up, man? I know you're a regular on The Future. He's like a 17-year-old kid, prodigy
Really?
kind of dude. Yeah.
He's gonna be my boss someday or something.
He's already doing really well in his life. So I'm going to use the blend tool again and click on this. Sometimes this doesn't work for me. Is it working? Hello.
Sometimes it's hard to tell if it is.
What the heck is it? What am I doing wrong now? Do I need to click on the point or an object?
Yeah,
or?
usually I click on a point.
Point, right? And you click on the corresponding point, right?
Yeah.
There we go.
Sometimes it doesn't. I don't know why. Sometimes it doesn't show up, and it's because it's you always jump into specified stuff.
Okay, where's the AI team here? Where's the product managers?
They're all
now
over.
now I realize it's too thick, but whatever, right? Because I think 3 is too few and 4 is the right amount, but then the gap is all jacked,
Yeah.
right? So we have to kind of figure that out. This is a long way to say that I don't know what I'm doing, that Emily was on the right path.
No, that's good.
Anyway, so now I can paste in front, right? And I'm going to get rid of this stroke. Okay, and I'm just going to hide that. What I probably want to do at this point, Emily's working too fast. She's working way too fast, so I'm going to move this over here.
So maybe we
do
shouldn't
wanna
use your
see.
way.
I'm going to keep
No,
a copy.
you're fine.
No, we'll see. Emily's almost done with the whole identity system
know.
at this point.
I knew we're gonna be done. We're gonna be done early today.
What are we going to do with the rest of the time?
No
I have
idea.
slides. I got slides just in case, you guys. Just relax. We got something. There's a backup plan. So here, there's a number of ways that you can do this. You can mask this off, which is fine, which is Command 7. That works okay. You can also use the shape builder, or you can use the Pathfinder tool, which is the divide. So how do you guys want me to do this? What's your favorite way of doing this?
To chop it? Is that what
Yeah,
you're
to chop
saying?
it, to just clean this thing up.
And you don't want to do a clipping mask?
I could use a clipping mask, which is Command 7. I can use the Pathfinder and use the divide function, or I can use shape builder or shape finder or whatever that's called.
Yeah.
What do you think? Should our audience tell us?
Yeah, tell us
What's your preferred?
how you chop off the ends of both those sides.
Yeah, so I think I needed to
Shape
expand
builder. Everyone is.
this. Shape builder, they like the new tools. Huh?
The reason Shape Builder is good because you can do multiple moves with multiple objects in one go.
Yep.
Pathfinder is
an extra
I'm
step
pretty sure
sometimes.
it's going to be.
Yeah. Unless you do
You're gonna
intersect.
have to go to Pathfinder
If I did
a couple
intersect,
times.
it would probably work, right? So I think
M,
Shift
that
M.
bad boy.
Here we go. So then you hold down Option
yeah.
and you go, and there you go.
And the
It's
option,
So you're
option
gonna
key
keep
will.
this, keep this, keep that,
remove
keep
it.
that, and then I think should I save the white spaces just in case we want to do something with? Nah, let's get rid of it. I'm gonna hold down Option and then you just draw over that. You don't have to make the sound effects, but Paul will. The obligatory sound effects. And now you have a perfectly drawn, evenly spaced thing. Except for this is a perfect 45-degree equilateral is it equilateral triangle?
Yeah.
Yeah, same dimensions on both sides, right? This now maybe not that interesting to some people. And that's how
I
you
like
do
it. I want to see. Let's check in with Emily.
All right, let's do it.
All right, I have a.
She was on social media account a second ago. She wasn't even working.
Yeah, I was like watching some YouTube videos.
She's watching YouTube videos.
Tweeting.
She's watching herself on Adobe Live while she's on Adobe Live.
That would be
those
amazing.
Comments.
Oh my gosh, if you could do that,
She
you're next
is.
level.
Yeah, I'm like
She's
commenting on myself.
She's
Good
logged in
job.
as someone else. Oh, Emily, your hair looks great
Amazing.
today.
Yeah. Wow. I kind of have 4 directions down here, but I might add more depending on if I can come up with other ideas. But I'm still.
Oh, you only have 4? That's pretty weak because I'm still drawing with my first hand.
I know, right? How many do you have, Chris?
It's a beautiful M though. I'll tell you that. Okay, so what else is going on? So Emily is more
really
efficient. Hey, I don't mean how you say
She
your
is,
name, or Aurelian. Relax, all right? Relax. Yeah, she is more efficient. That's why we brought her in.
That's right. She's really the.
Today was your day to shine.
You're really the mastermind here. We're just eye candy. At this point, we're just eye candy.
To be
candy.
honest here, you guys, Emily's not even working. Those are just fake hands moving around. She's actually puppeteering both Paul and I right now. So
This is pre-recorded.
All mind work.
She did this last night. She recorded her screen and it sped it up at 200%.
Don't tell them.
So it makes it look like watch. Try to scratch your nose and watch it won't stop moving. Never mind.
Don't do it.
Anyway.
okay.
I am working on some interesting textures.
You are.
I think
Let's
this
see.
does
I wanna
need.
see.
I mean,
we see it?
again,
Are
it's
we
kind of
at
like
that
the
point yet?
same. It's kind of the same thing still. Still
It
need to
looks
kind
kind
of
of like where you left off.
Yeah, I know. I was too captivated by your 3 lines.
No,
joking.
excuse
Oh,
me.
4.
Oh, there are 4.
Oh, sorry.
Can you count?
4 lines.
Can you
I'm
count,
just
please?
messing with you.
Squeeze me. All right.
But yeah, I mean, yeah. Let's talk. I want to know where Emily's at because you're like all over the place, and you have some really good ideas in there. You just still kind of brainstorming ideas.
I think I'm done brainstorming ideas at this point. I'm just expanding on one single concept.
Okay.
And I will soon have some choices for you guys to pick. I think maybe I'll have 5.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, give him 4.
4, okay.
We will have to make a decision.
All right.
And the reason why is because just focus in on 4.
Cool.
Yeah. That wasn't even a reason, was it?
What is that name of that font again? That somebody's asking.
The one that I've been using, I
Something with
think
letter
I'm
C, right?
using a lot of fonts right now. Campton.
Campton.
I think that's one.
Campton.
Yeah.
Let's meet up in the Camptons.
Yeah, Emily, can you tell us how you, I guess, got your first job at Blind? Is that right?
Yeah.
Because Chris was such a generous boss. I first interned at Blind.
No, that's not true. Oh, yeah, it is true.
Yeah.
It is true. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh, you're right.
He already
You did
forgot
it.
about us.
You know, you did it in a really weird order. That's
Yeah.
not the typical order. So keep going.
Right. Usually people meet Chris through his class and then they'll intern, but I didn't know Chris until he came to our center for a talk. It was a 3x3 talk. I was like, oh, so there's a studio called Blind that exists. So I
So
signed
we were
up.
like basically the hottest company, and you never even heard of us. Like, who is that guy?
Oh,
He has a company?
yeah.
Dang, all right.
He's pretty articulate. Okay, he knows
Right.
what he's talking about. So they wanted interns, and I just signed up. And I interviewed with actually 2 other companies, and I had to actually drive to their studio and do a face-to-face interview. And when I got the okay or the acceptance for my internship at Blind, I just got an email say, "Oh, you got in. You could just come in this day." I was like, "Oh, there's no interview?" They're like, "No, we like your work. Just come in."
Like,
Yeah, and
that's
so
cool.
So what did you do with the other 2 interviews? I've never even heard this story before. God, it's story time, guys.
yeah, and I
So
was like,
what
"Peace
happened?
out." Bye.
The middle of the interview, you're like, yo, see you later.
Yeah.
Smell you later.
Right, because I really wanted to intern at Blind. I knew Blind was a really good company, and I knew I was able to learn a lot. So yeah.
Sorry to
just
disappoint you.
Said goodbye. Said goodbye to the other companies and just interned at Blind. And after Blind, I was still in school, and Chris brought me back to freelance.
No, then you were my student.
Oh
weren't you?
yeah.
Oh, now who's forgetting already? Now you don't. So here, I'll tell this part of the story
Okay.
while you work. So then Emily enrolls in my class. I think the class I was teaching at that time was called Advanced Sequential Design or something with the word S in it and D, sequential design. And Emily took the class, and we were very friendly. Hey, Emily, how's it going? And as soon as class started, I was like, I don't know you.
Yeah.
You're a student. I'm going to tear you apart. And she later on told me, God, you're so cold in class.
Yeah,
You're so
it's
warm
like you
as a
don't know
boss.
me.
Yeah, because I didn't want to show any sense of favoritism, that there was preferential treatment for anybody, and I wanted her to experience the full class experience. I wanted you to sign up and do it like everybody else. And so I think there was an adjustment period for you. It was like, oh, so cold.
I
And
know.
I do tell people this story because they're very intimidated when they take my class, and I fulfill my role as a stern Asian instructor at Art Center, which is like a double whammy. That's a double hit for you, right? And then they come and work for me, and they're nervous, they're shaking. I'm like, hey, relax. When you were a student, my role is pretty clear. I'm the authority. I'm here to teach you, and you go off and you design it yourself. I have no control over your life. I have no stake in whether or not you win or lose from here on out, right? I can only lead you to water. But when you're working for me, we're on the same team, man. If you fail, I fail. And if I fail, you fail. There's no way. We're connected at the hip at this point. So there's a very different dynamic and relationship, and people don't understand that human beings have different speeds and have different spectrums. So I'm one person as a dad, a different person as an instructor, and a very different person as a boss. And a wholly different person on Adobe Creative Live
Oh yeah.
or the future.
Yeah.
And it depends on which one needs to show up.
Yeah. No, that is good. Yeah. So Patrick's asking about. I don't know if you know Molly.
Yeah. Why did Molly leave? Molly left because she had other opportunities, and ultimately we're friends, and I wish her well. And she was freelancing at Farm Design, which you guys had on the show here, and we're all friends. It's a
Yeah,
very
Farm
incestuous,
Design.
small little world, right?
What,
He and I have been friends for
Aaron Atchison.
Yeah, Aaron
Love
Atchison.
Aaron.
Yeah, he's been a friend of mine now for coming up on 20 years, I think, almost.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's the.
And I've seen him grow from a guy in his own bedroom playing Halo with him, and to seeing him have a very successful design, branding, and packaging firm. Yeah, we've even run the Spartan race together.
Oh,
so
yeah.
that's where Molly's at right now,
Is
I
Spartan?
think. No, at Farm
The
Design.
Spartan
Oh,
race.
this is-
Yeah, I'm sure Molly's a really tough woman,
Yeah.
and she
So's-
probably could do the Spartan race
So's
too.
Aaron.
Yeah,
One.
he runs
probably as well.
competitively.
Like he did. I think last year when he was on, he left and did one in Hawaii.
Yeah.
And it could have been a beast or a super, but his time was amazing. I
Yes.
was like, that is an
Do
amazing
you do the Spartan
time.
thing too?
Yes, but
Yeah.
really slow.
Me too.
And it's really not. I say it's not about time because I'm slow. It's not really about the time, is it?
If you came in top 10, you're like, let me tell you about my time and how I finished in the top for my age, right? Yeah.
I just did the one in Utah. It was the super over the weekend.
You did super. Okay, that's the fast one, right?
Yeah, it's like 8 miles.
Yeah.
So it's like the middle of the road. There's the
Oh, then sprint is a short one?
Sprint's
Okay,
like the
I see.
5. It's not 5K. I think it's 5 miles.
I think it's
like
5
that,
miles. Yeah.
5, 8, and then you jump up to like 12 to 14 for the beast, and
Mm-hmm.
then there's the ultra beast that's like 30.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
mad
So
sick. Yeah, we can say that. We don't say mad sick. That's
they're
what-
doing it because of you.
Wondering where everybody's from. Is anybody, Eric, are you in Utah? I see a lot of exclamation points after that word. Want to welcome you wherever you're at. I think somebody's from Art Center or in Berlin. Or
Oh,
at
nice.
least
What
in
up?
Berlin
Art Center in the
general.
house. Represent.
India here. Good to have you.
Mm-hmm.
Belgium.
Oh, now everyone's going to put in their city, huh?
I love it. Oh, Chiang Mai. Oh, cool.
Chiang
Idaho.
Mai. Is that in China?
No, it's in Thailand. Chiang Mai,
Thailand.
Chiang Rai. I forget which one's really close to the Laos, Burma border up there. So
My Egyptians are in the house. I see them. Mm-hmm. Wow, we're all over the place.
Brazil.
Okay, so I'll ask a
Chile.
different question so we can get off the what city you were in.
Chicago.
What time is it there right now?
Someone
Yeah.
said it was 3 a.m. when we
Philippines.
just started
Philippines.
streaming.
Ivan, I want to know what time it is in Philippines. Like that has to be like super far east of us.
Yeah.
So, Chiang Rai is the one close to the border. I apologize. Guadalajara.
Well, who's the SCAD person here?
Oh, 2:22 a.m.
Are you a SCAD person, Paul?
The what?
Are you from Savannah College of Art and Design?
No.
Oh, so yeah. What are you talking about? Yo, what up, SCAD in the house? Come on.
Because you said Art Center in the house. So
Yeah,
they're like,
because there's
"Scab
2
in
of
the
us
house."
that are art center in the
They wanna-
house.
they
You're
wanna
not in
feel
the house.
included.
You're out of the house. Okay.
Baton
You're in the
Rouge,
outhouse.
Poland. It's like geez.
Somebody's drawing military
midnight
time?
in Poland.
Now I have to do the math on that. Come on, guys. Yeah, Jordan, what up from SCAD? Chris, wave at me. All right, Sean, what up? There you go. Boom.
No,
Ivan
wait,
Blow.
Ivan. I started at 4:52 a.m. Please tell me you went to sleep,
Oh my
Ivan,
God.
and you just got up.
You can
Or you
sleep when
work
you're dead.
nights.
It's fine.
Ecuador. Very cool.
Yeah.
I
People
have
from
4
all over.
logos here that I think we can choose from.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, actually, I'll name 1, 2, 3, 4, so it'll make it easier for people to.
Thank you.
Yeah, okay,
So we kinda get a, like,
we're kind of
vote?
at a good place. Probably what we want to do is talk and then critique these and then have everybody pick one.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yep.
Is there an official poll that you can shoot out or just whatever people chat?
We could do I mean, it's up to us.
Yeah?
Yeah, we could do.
Okay,
a
let's
straw
do that.
poll.
That would be lovely. Don't even, you guys don't submit your answer yet. We haven't even prompted you guys to tell us what you like.
Because it looks like it might get pretty close here.
I'm gonna tune you guys
It'd
out.
be easy if there was like 3
Yeah.
of them, but I mean,
No, if everybody
do
typed
a
in like
poll.
one, but don't do it yet. We need to look at it, kind of hear the thinking about it, and then kind of evaluate it based on that. Okay?
want me to set it up?
I think you should have one where there's no symbol on top.
Okay.
And
This
I-
is kind of like it.
Where I think you should integrate
it's
it,
just like
the
a-
M tied together so there's not a symbol, right?
Yeah, and again, you got 5 minutes to submit your portfolios for
And then-
portfolio reviews as
The
well.
You know what? Let's make it more complicated then. How many poll options can we get? Oh, okay. Let's do 6. We'll do 6 total. So let's split this and let's do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Let's do one that's just purely typographic with the faceted edges cut off, and let's do one without a symbol, and then let's evaluate it based on that.
Okay.
Okay. So Emily's going to do 2 more because I think some of her thinking needs to be captured and not all of it's represented here. And we will do that in a moment. Okay. While we're doing that, I want to set up something else because tomorrow we're going to be doing the identity system. So we need to kind of write some language, and it's not going to be great. I'm not a copywriter, but I have some ideas, and to create some images, posters, and all that kind of fun stuff. So I'm going back into the internet now and I'm finding things and I want to share them with you. So here's a website that I found after reverse tracking it back to the person because initially I found this person on Instagram. So this is their site, deepyellow.net. And I thought this was really cool because these look like paper sculptures instead of it being this faceted gemstone thing. And I was just intrigued by this. And I love beautiful, simple design. And Emily and I were looking at this before we got here.
It's really cool.
The one on the right, number 2, what gradient is that? Is that the Bach gradient? Like
Radial
radial
gradient?
It's not the linear one. Is it a
I
radial gradient?
almost wonder if
With
I
an
mean,
element
it's-
on top?
It, you know, we actually snuck a new feature that's called a diffuse gradient in
Ooh.
Illustrator. But something like that is way too complex. I'm sure it's a layered, like multiple gradients, one on top of
Okay.
the next.
And then with a shadow pass on it, something like that too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Angle gradient?
yeah, I definitely
it's
like
the radial
layered. If you
gradient.
use the appearance panel, you can layer multiple gradients.
there's this new thing
multiple
called-
fills.
Diffusion gradient.
Diffusion gradient. Yeah. Look
Can
it
you
up
show?
later.
Okay, I'll do it. I'll do it
It's
myself later.
on YouTube.
I want to see it.
But it's
Okay.
cool because it's like adding a droplet of color
Yeah,
in like water. So if it's green, you do a droplet of red, it'll like
it'll bleed out.
yeah, and then
Nice.
you just put as many little
Oh, so that's-
color droplets, if you will. Oh, it's gonna
That's
be
a nicer
amazing.
way to do a gradient than the mesh thing, which is a beast.
Yeah,
Like sometimes I
agreed.
start that, I'm like, oh, I don't
I
want to do
know.
that. It's too
Yeah.
much. Okay, so here's some more of this person's work. I don't know if it's a single person or a company, but I like this person's work, and if you like their work, I think they sell posters too, so you can buy them. I probably will
I
pick
would
up one
love
or
to
two.
know how that's done because I mean
It's pretty rad, right?
It could actually be just like straight up
beautiful.
3D too. Yeah.
Probably. And some of these I
Look
suspect
at how
looks
look
like
at how the
3D.
light from the yellow is bouncing onto the gray.
So something that really fascinated me is the one on the right, the one that says the word venture. And I like that this kind of looks like a diamond, but not really. It's just a pyramid skewed into the corner. And I'm thinking that we can probably draw shapes like this and do something with them and put an image in them and just do it old school. Like if we didn't know how to use dimensions or had any access to 3D software, I could use those as masks inside Photoshop and then do something with that. And I think that could turn out really cool and maybe make it more asymmetrical. The other thing I mentioned earlier on is duotones. I like to kind of think of these kinds of ideas, create image buckets again, and kind of find things to fill it. So these are 3 gradient or duotones that I thought were pretty cool in the green family. So one has a warm tone next to it, and the other one is green and blue, and one that's very muted and low contrast. But then as I was digging deeper, I found this person's work, and this is Magdale Lopez. And I think this is super beautiful. This is gorgeous imagery.
Oh, yeah.
The gradients here. And you can take something as simple as 2 colors and a simple shape, like a circle, and do something really amazingly creative with it. And I like how there are elements missing from this, like the bird is taken out, and it has this really wonderful quality to it. And the astronaut, I mean, if we're gonna put on a helmet, this is the way to do it. That looks fantastic.
It does.
And somebody said Christoph Van and Proyen is saying duotones are so last year with a big smiley face. And he's going to start me off on a rant right now. And I'm just going to try not to Hulk out.
There we
So
go.
I'm just
Been
gonna be
around
calm.
And somebody also
Forever.
mentioned
It's okay.
something about like angle gradients in Photoshop. So that's like a good call. I'm just
Mm-hmm.
gonna switch to my screen really fast, just so you know what we're talking about. 'cause
Ooh,
If you,
did you just do that?
yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
that's it right there.
Yeah.
Hold on.
Yeah, that kind of looks like it.
Where is my thing? Let me just compare. There. Okay. Let's compare. Can we A/B this? Your screen, my screen, split it in half.
Yeah, maybe not on the fly. Like
Okay, not on the
that,
fly. Yeah.
But
okay. All right. Because we just got to give it a second.
so
then
I'm gonna
we'll-
just kind of switch back real fast, and because typically we're used to dealing with linear, radial, and this is
Yeah,
the
we never even go
angle.
beyond there.
And then there's even something called diamond.
Let's see what the diamond
that
looks
we
like.
can get into. But it's
yeah.
very
That's Xbox.
it's very word art,
Yeah.
like
get
not
it.
cool. But
Right.
whoever mentioned this, like good call. 'cause
Good.
those
Good
are-
on you, man.
Those are hidden.
Yeah, very nice. So what we want is, what is it called again? Angle?
Mine is called angle gradient.
Angle gradient. So if we don't need to A/B that, it's fine. But it basically is the same thing. Very cool.
Excuse me.
I think you guys have to be careful about saying that is associated with that thing. Meaning duotones are so last year, or circles are out, or Helvetica is so on trend. Well, no, it's not on trend because it's been used for the last 40 or 50 years, however long Helvetica has been in existence. Your awareness of that typeface, or your awareness of this trick, or this way of treating an image, that's your association, it's only yours. Because people have been using duotones since the invention of like 2-color printing. And that's how you got a richer image. So Bradbury Thompson.
That was probably
right?
the first. Wait, when you say duotone, so like 2 colors.
2 colors,
Yeah.
2-color print.
Yeah.
And there's books and books on this kind of stuff dating back like 2 decades. You know, you can look it up. So
Yeah.
don't get all caught up in that. Like, oh, primitive shapes are so on trend right now. It's not. Geometry Oh yeah, there you go. Now he's messing around with me. Robert's geometry's over. Yeah, okay, get out of here. All right, anyways.
Looks like you have, and we'll wait for.
We'll make some friends with
straw
Adobe
poll.
Live team.
Yeah.
Our audience here. Yes, we will.
Well, once we get the straw poll ready, we'll
Okay. Okay.
fire it up. But we do have all 6 designs here.
Yeah.
Yes, we do. Okay, so are we ready for the poll? Okay, now we'll talk about the design. Let's zoom in on each so that we can appreciate each one.
And
Right.
feel free, like, once you have the poll, just post it. It's cool. Like, because it's going to take people a while to vote.
You might want to move the thing right off the mark. Yeah. No. Emily.
We're all messing with your screen.
Yeah.
Emily!
Don't!
Emily!
Emily! Don't! Just
That's
relax.
very good. You did very good.
Don't.
You're the
Okay.
superstar.
Here we go.
Yeah.
So this
The
one,
icon
Here we go.
here.
there's an icon. You've deleted the corner, just kind of add a little visual emphasis on the corner, which I like, and it breaks it up. It's not overly complicated. I think this will reduce down small really well.
Yeah.
And the typeface is which one again? This is a different one.
Campton.
Are you sure?
No,
This is
this one's
this one
SAA.
I picked.
Yeah.
SAA, like
Yeah.
I don't know, whatever. Emerald, and then we're thinking that Emirates could work here, but maybe some clever copywriter. Send us the tagline. Actually, you're a really smart writer. Somebody drop that in the chat window, and we'll pick out the best one and we'll comp it in here. Okay? Can we do that? Yeah, let's do it.
What do you want to
Let's
do?
look at the next one.
Yeah.
So if you guys have some ideas on taglines, things that we can use underneath. So this one has more of a geometric, probably inspired by some of the Arabic tiles that we saw,
Right.
and just kind of an abstract configuration. If we go this direction, I can see this working in many different ways where we can break out individual shapes and create different kinds of patterns, reconfigure them. Like, is that called a tanagram? The little toy with a bunch of shapes, and you can reconfigure them to like 100 different or thousands of different animals.
Oh,
boats.
what is
Is that
that
a
called?
tanagram or?
It
We
was
could just
very
type it on the
popular
internet.
in the 90s, right?
Okay.
No, it's been around like forever.
It wasn't in trend.
I'll look it up right now. Yeah,
It's not origami?
I think it's called a tanagram, but let's see.
By the way, we do have
I don't
that
have
clock
internet.
at 0, so after this, we'll get into portfolio reviews.
Oh, so
So let's
are we
kind of
almost
hustle
over?
through this.
Okay,
We don't
so-
have to really
So forget about
hustle,
that.
but-
My internet's not working. That's fine. Okay, Emily, here we go. It's tangram. I added one extra letter.
Oh, I
Tangram.
love that. I love
See?
that. I
Tangram.
love that game.
People love that.
Oh,
people
you know
love it.
who's good at it? Is designers. Seriously, like
Some
we're
designers.
so good at that
Some
game.
designers.
It's all visual.
Yeah,
Like,
have you played with the
I
cards?
know how things fit together. Oh,
You throw the card down and who can assemble it the fastest?
love it.
right.
All day long.
Okay.
Oh, someone said tangram.
Tangram, not tanagram. Tangram.
Yeah.
Thank you very
You
much.
win.
Okay, here we go. So this one has the reference to maybe some Arabic tiles, some of that sacred geometry that we kind of like, and I like the linear model stroke weight. Beautiful. Let's keep going. So these are mostly explorations of symbol with typeface, right?
Right.
Now you didn't use the serif typeface that I saw earlier.
No, this is
Is that the one I said that looks good? I guess blown up it looks a little different. Okay.
Yeah.
What is that?
Mrs. Eves.
This is Eves. Hmm. Okay.
Maybe because the kerning
Eves.
is a little bit like
Okay,
weird.
okay, yeah.
Because I didn't, go
yeah,
in.
I don't know. Okay. Maybe a little sharper. Mrs. Eves has such round parts.
Emerald,
Okay.
now anybody can fly. People are throwing out.
Now, good. If we
I like
see a good one, if we see a good
Emerald,
one.
not for you. Because we're way too expensive.
If you have to ask, forget about it.
You can't afford it.
So on this one, I think, Emily, before we vote, I think it would be much better paired with a sans serif typeface
Okay.
for the bottom.
Okay.
This is where I think we need to open up the tracking a little bit on Emerald,
Okay.
and then use a sans serif, and let's see what happens.
But not right now.
Oh.
Because everybody's voting.
Oh, they're voting. Okay, okay.
And then plus we got to
Okay.
get portfolio.
Let's go
Oh,
four.
okay.
Number four, please.
Four,
Do it in
four,
order so
four,
people
four.
can keep track. So this is with a little kind of abstract E
You can't
crown
change it.
place over the center.
Maybe you can.
It's putting emphasis on the R, and it's very centered. And centered things feel very classic. And so if you use a sans serif typeface and use a center typeset, it has a nice balance between modern and classic, I think. Okay.
I like the that crown also, just like the first one, reminds me of an M. And when you say emerald, you don't announce
Right.
the E.
Right.
Kind of works.
Yeah, it's a kind of like a silent E, right? Here's the one that we started off. This feels a little bit like the girl with the dragon tattoo typeface. And if you look that up, it kind of feels like that. And I think there's a nice concept baked into this, that there's these sheared off corners that remind us of the gem.
It'll cut you.
Yeah, a little, a cut above.
It'll
Sharp.
cut you.
Well, something.
It's got some edge. You don't mess with this font.
Yes. Okay, let's keep going. On the cutting edge, you would say?
On the cutting edge.
Yes. And this one, we're going to strip away the symbol, and we're going to work on mostly just one decorative element, the M, and that can be abstracted and pulled apart from this, but it's configured this way so that it's not a giant configuration. So you guys, go ahead and vote right now. The straw poll is up, I believe. You can vote between options 1 through 6. So we'll rest on this a beat. How many times can they vote? Just once, right? Okay, you can only vote once, so
from one device.
Choose wisely, people.
Depends on how many devices you have, I think.
Sean is very opinionated. It's like 6 is a no. Well, nobody asked you what you don't want. Just pick the one that you do want.
Someone came up with a really funny tagline earlier.
What was it?
Emerald harder than sitting on a rock.
Harder than sitting on a rock?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, let's use that one.
Harder than sitting
All right,
on a rock.
we're only going to use ones that are good. Come on, guys.
And do they all know that they need to use the link rather than typing it in? Because there are a lot of people that's just typing it in.
When we said straw poll, if you click on that link, that's how you're going to be able to vote, and we will pull that up in a second.
Where's that link? I don't see it. How did you know that?
It went up already.
Oh, it passed? Okay. Okay. It's going to close in about 10, 15 seconds. But that's okay. While we're waiting for that to close, I want to... do we need to do something else?
Fly radiantly. And we can give him time. We're doing pretty good.
We're doing good?
The jewel in the sky.
And the sparkle in my eye.
The sky keeps on turning.
10 more seconds.
10 more seconds.
Okay.
Counting down. Okay.
5 minutes on the portfolio.
Because we have maybe like... we still have... Okay, cool.
Someone said 4 is in lead.
How did they know? Did they tell you the results right away?
Yeah, so I'm going to vote for my favorite, which is that one.
Is it really? What is it neck and neck between?
2 and
between
4.
2 and 4 right now, you guys. Between 2 and 4.
4.
If you guys want to make my job easier,
3.
pick 2.
Why?
2.
Because that's like a really big, like cool pattern to repeat. You know,
We
you
can
could do a
still
lot.
use it.
Yeah.
2.
Just not as part of the logo.
Okay, it's connected now. All right, 3, 2, 1. Let's refresh those results, and it looks like the winner
4.
by 1 vote.
Wow.
is
1 vote?
Wow, 4.
Oh my
okay.
goodness.
Yeah.
Not a lot of you guys know how to vote.
Yeah, still by 1 vote.
Wait, no, 2
hold on,
just jumped in front. Hold on, something just happened.
I just hit refresh.
Okay.
2,
It's
1.
too close, guys. So we'll just write 2 and 4. Okay? And if nothing else changes, we're done.
And what you usually do in this case is you take both logos and you just mash them together. Not really. But that's typically what the client says. Oh, I like this one and this one. Can you take pieces from this one and put it with this one? You know how they do.
Yeah,
do it.
yeah.
Like, that's what happens.
So right now, it does look like the unofficial tally is that 2 won by 1 vote. It's
Switching
that
back
close.
to your screen.
Okay.
Trying
Switching
to.
back. Boom. There we go.
2 and 4.
So 2, 2. The other 2.
2 and 4.
No, I was
Sweet.
trying to show the, you know, the
2 and then 4.
2.
So 2 and now 4.
Cool.
4.
4. Okay. Beautiful job.
And there was no wrong answer there, just so everybody knows.
Everybody wins.
Everybody wins. You know who also wins are 2 people, as we're going to dive into portfolio reviews, and we will take a look at these again because this is fantastic.
Okay.
We'll wrap up with you guys talking about the plan for tomorrow.
Okay.
Well played. Now we're going to turn the camera on you, and we're going to dive into portfolio reviews.
And we're back. Oh, I like the way you did that.
Oh, there's everybody. All right, we do have portfolios. Let me turn around. The computer's actually right back here.
Oh, yeah, right.
And our first one happens to be Oswill Liz Reyes, a graphic designer from Binghamton, New York. Congratulations, Oswill is right here. You see yourself, you see your portfolio. What we don't see is your face. Mystery man, but
It's like our helmet.
It's like the helmet. I like you guys are very stylish. You guys are really sticking with the program. I'm into it. Kind of diving into.
We're Asian. We do what we're told. That's why I'm gonna take this off because it's hard to breathe in here. Whoa! I almost knocked off my
diving
glasses.
into the work experience. Gallery assistant, teaching assistant, various work, and actually doing some graphic design and marketing as well.
Nice.
Just kind of getting an idea for like how much experience that Oswill has. And here's
Do we have
his
a place
portfolio.
on Behance to write the year you graduated school? Or what
yeah, he
degrees
could
you
put
may or may
it
not
like
have?
a lot of times like right here in the
Yeah,
focus.
some people do.
Yeah, I was kind of looking for the years right here, but without clicking into the resume, but
Okay.
I can. But I'd say a sort of younger designer. Still, 10 portfolio pieces. Any
I want to go with that
ones?
All-Star
Okay.
Golf raffle tickets. The image
do it.
caught my eye. So what's it saying?
All-Star Golf is an event that focused on raising proceeds for the Broome County Urban League, various nonprofits, and the military.
The
Raffle
series of
tickets sold.
posters.
So All-Star Golf, and
No,
these
it's
are
tickets.
raffle tickets.
Raffle tickets.
Those are fun.
They're nice.
Yeah, good job. Let's kind of click into this. and-
Duotone.
There you go, duotone.
That's so last year. No, it's not. But you know what? I like that.
Nice and big. I want to know about these illustrations. Like, if he drew them, then that's what I'd love to see. Or if it's bought, I'd be interested.
I'm going to suspect that you drew them because they're very consistent.
Yeah.
Usually when you find like one cool illustration, it's hard to find a whole family of them.
Yeah.
Let's see if they did that.
Yeah. Oswald would love to know if you drew them or if you work partner with someone. You graduated this May. Okay, cool. Finally got a full-time gig. Congratulations, my friend. Why are we reviewing your portfolio? You already landed the job. Congrats, buddy.
He's rubbing it in.
And I could see your color choices here are awesome.
Right.
Like, I really like the
Yeah, it's very
color
fresh, really
choices.
bright.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever used those colors before.
Oh, I know
Not
those
this
You
colors.
one.
want to. They just like, they're like electric. Ooh, he did them all in Adobe Illustrator Draw.
Wow.
Bonus
Slow
points.
clap again. you're
Adobe
killing
Illustrator
it.
Draw.
Yeah.
Is that another program?
Yes.
Wow.
It's like Illustrator on the iPad. But
All vector.
great work.
I like the poses, and I like the super ultra condensed typeface in the back. Good choice of colors. He's using complementary colors, purple and yellow, I think, and that's what's working really
And then
well.
really pulling it in there, like just the
Yeah.
hints of like yellow right there is like,
Yeah, the highlights really work.
And I like that at some points the body disappears into the background. That's really cool.
Yeah.
Now, here's the thing though. When I see it in repetition, when I see it small, it somehow starts to lose some of its power. It works much better as a bigger image, and so this is where, like, if you do the squint test or the 6 foot test, where you're standing away from your work about 6 feet back, and you realize it's hard to see what's going on, and that's where some of this runs into the danger, and especially too because in some of these you have to work with different numbers, and so not all the numbers line up well with your figure. So some are more aesthetically pleasing than others. See, every time you go to the big view, I like it. And
Yeah,
when you go to the
it's
small
gorgeous.
view, it looks less exciting to me. Okay.
but still I think, oh wow, this is fun to see.
So it's been actually printed or something?
Yeah. I love it. I think it's just the right amount of detail considering the size, for the characters. Didn't get too lost in all of that.
So I assume here you're printing it out and you're cutting it up on your board there. I think having something else in there to help us understand the scale of these tickets might be kind of cool.
Yeah.
Give us an object that we know the size of, like a pencil,
Or like
and
your
put it
hand.
right there. Or an X-Acto knife.
You're saying who inspired you to do this work with his sports drawings? Are you talking about Rob Zilla? Is the only person I can think of who's an illustrator that works in Adobe Illustrator Draw and does a lot of sports, a lot of basketball. He's really good.
Michael Schwab is like the legend.
Michael Schwab.
You know Michael Schwab? I'll look up his work right now. Let's see if I can get on the internet.
She's saying they're business card size.
Business
They're
card
about
size,
like
so they're
this
kinda-
big.
I love
Kinda
it.
small.
Oswald, you're killing it. I mean, it's the fact that you're not only you're a strong graphic designer, but a good illustrator too. Like,
right.
Double threat. I'm into it.
Okay, well,
all right, Oswell, if you want to. Oh yeah, he is talking about Robzilla. Oswell, if there's one in particular that you're proud of, we can click into it, but we'll probably only spend a couple minutes on this.
Figure it out, thank you.
I
think I'm on.
That's a pretty bright one. Let's go 3 Blind Mice.
Yeah, it defaulted to the other one.
Nursery rhymes.
Yeah.
3 blind mice. Is this a poster?
Looks like it is. It just says nursery rhymes. So cool, like crossing that out. So designery of you. Very cool. 3 blind mice. Okay. They look like Legos, but I like the glasses. The glasses kind of say, okay.
Right, I think
blind look.
they're
And
just posters of this poem.
He likes the Hinman 50th, so I think you're talking about that. Here we go, Hinman College 50th anniversary. Oh, this is good. Kind of diving into...
what are we doing here? Is he showing every typeface that he's picked? Okay.
I think he's kind of breaking, yeah, I guess so, breaking it down. This is interesting. There's 4 typefaces. Thoughts?
Or actually 3 or 4, yeah.
Oh yeah, I guess you're right.
Yeah.
3. Right? Okay.
It's a little
3
bit too much.
typefaces. 4 fonts. That was my first thought. Is it like too many? And I kind of want to see how he uses it.
If it works, okay.
I don't know. When you pick another typeface, you want to make sure that it stands out and there's a reason why. I think you picked American Typewriter and it's for the 1967. I'm not sure that that's even necessary.
I don't think so. Not considering it's
no,
especially that it's down here.
Yeah, like why would you do that?
You want it to be the same. I like it when they do this hard drop shadow. It's hard shadow there. Hey there.
Okay, so no more Mr. Nice Guy.
Oh.
I'm ready to dive in here. Who's this? What's this person's name again?
Yeah, this is Oswell.
Oswald can. Okay, I'm gonna just try to do this as respectfully as I can. The tickets that you did were really wonderful. The illustrations felt really custom. When I look at something like this, I think there's a lot of potential in here, and then I think I get the feeling you know how to illustrate and you know how to control light and shadow. But what I'm not loving is the single stroke drawing. Whenever I see a single stroke thing that doesn't have any kind of variance in its weight, then I feel like it feels really flat and almost like clip art. And the other thing is when you do these banners, these ribbons that wrap around, I want to see more dimensionality out of it. And I would prefer if you did it not needing to do a stroke around it. Are people getting, what's wrong? Why are you laughing?
Saw that coming, Chris moment.
Here it comes, yeah.
Chris trying so hard not to say anything.
And I think here, like you're using some gradients, but not a lot. And I wonder if you can just use this or create this illustration just using all flat color. I don't know that you need to have a gradient in there. We saw that you applied the hard shadow. Is that what you call it? Yeah. The hard shadow before, and it works just fine. To make these look more like logos and less like illustrations, and to vary the stroke weight. And I think we're gonna get a lot more from this.
And I would say even like it'll make a huge difference if you take this stroke weight and if you just make it just thick, like Draplin thick. I mean, it just because that's kind of a style thing these days.
Yeah,
it'll make a big difference. Because if you look at clip art, all of it, it's like 1 point. They didn't change the stroke weight at all. But if it's thicker and you round some of that, I think that'd look really good. Or like you said, you could even potentially even get rid of it altogether and have no.
I'm seeing potentially a technical mistake where the inner green circle, that stroke, it seems like it's not in the center.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about? It's lower at the bottom, and if you zoom back out, Paul, you'll see that it dips down.
Oh yeah, right here.
Like it's off axis, right? So you can see that it's drifting south. I'm not sure that was intentional. If it was, whatever, make it more intentional. But otherwise, it looks like it's just a little bit off, and sometimes that happens. Illustrator using Wacom pen, sometimes you let go and it just drops and you're not even paying attention to it, and that can happen to you. Okay.
I love the eyes, by the way. The eyes look really cool. 50th, again, probably the same. I kind of want to keep it moving because we only have 5 minutes for the next portfolio.
Can we cut to my screen real quick? I want to show you the Michael Schwab's work. He's been around forever and he does really beautiful work. Oh, you're not seeing the screen. What am I doing? Sorry, my bad. Stand by. I'm gonna fix it.
Technical difficulty.
No, you just idiot move. No, I didn't want to blame the machine.
And then we'll do this next portfolio because we only
Yeah.
have like 5
Okay, here we go.
minutes.
Now we're up. This is Michael Schwab's work, and you guys can look up his work. He's done a lot of work with the Duffy Design Group back in the day and with Charles Anderson. And one thing that you're going to notice about his work, it's very simple, and it's got this really cool quality where he just puts in just enough light to define the object, but you can read it. So when you were doing those tickets, 19, 12, whatever, it would still stand out here, right?
Yeah.
It's reminiscent of this, and just make sure that your figures read. Okay? I like tone on tone, but just make sure you can read it.
Very cool. And next up is Corey Davis. Congratulations.
Hey, Corey, what's up?
Look at that. Look
Strong
at that.
bearded man.
Nice.
Model-esque.
Perfect model-esque. Yeah, I got a cool beard. Yeah, what's it to you? I don't care. I don't care I have a cool beard. I'm going to look down.
No, he's
to
looking
the-
at his stain
to the right.
on the arm.
West Jordan, Utah. Good to have you. Graphic designer at Snugs.
Snugs, what
That's
up?
called. Creative dipping his toes in a bit of everything. I love it. Very plain, straightforward. These are really cool. I'm going to dive into this one because this looks most similar to kind of like what we were working on.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
I think this is another logo collection.
Yeah, it looks like it just said logos. So there's nothing else on here, by the way. So it just says logo.
So this is core. That's what it says, right? Core. Core photography.
Core.
Yeah. A little bit hard to read.
Elder
Elder
Taco.
Taco.
Ooh, a little bite, take it out of it. Love it.
That's a strange
I'd
bite
say you
mark.
don't really need that period right there for the after the 18, but I love the font. Feel free to chime in, guys. I'm just trying to move through these. Love this thickness. This is cool.
Very strong
I don't know what it
mark.
is. It's hard to gauge what this is, but
Yeah.
good job.
Crazy roosters.
Crazy roosters. I think
don't
it could
see-
look more like a rooster because I'm not really seeing the rooster
Yeah,
just right
same
now.
here.
I think that's what we were just about to say.
Uh-oh.
Mayhem.
Damn.
Oh.
Oh yeah.
This
I'm not
one's
sure
a
you need
little
the
bit
stroke.
difficult.
Why do you need the stroke?
Is it
Yeah, we
like
put it
a
without the
key
stroke.
or an arrow, the negative space?
Ooh.
Is it?
And we
What
almost see a
is-
pencil in there. I don't know.
Yeah.
It can be, but
Key
it
and
doesn't matter.
pencil.
You just still don't need the stroke. What do you need the stroke for?
Stencil advisors. That's cool. I like those lines
Right.
as you dive into it.
It's like a little wax seal.
Yeah. And let's go.
Chris scratching his
The
chin
toy
in anger.
box.
Listen to write that.
Yeah.
The
toy
toy box.
box.
Cool. Yeah, not the strongest work, but it's also kind of further down on the page.
I'll weigh in at the end.
Beehive Exchange.
Guys, when you're designing logos, think shape, don't think line. You're getting carried away with these thin lines, and I think earlier you were talking about just when a line becomes so thick, and hence the thick line thing, it becomes a shape again,
Yeah.
right? Think shapes.
At least since you were doing lines, they are the same thickness as the font, and that kind of ties it together. But
Okay,
still,
that's the
Corey
end.
Davis.
Is that the end of it?
Yeah.
That's the end of that
Okay.
one. Let's go. We saw Elder Taco. Let's
Yeah.
go into growing up. We're gonna do him justice since we have a minute.
Oh, I see the rooster now. Is this the
Yeah.
same
This is a different
logo?
portfolio.
Different portfolio. So you're seeing
These are
something
on
else.
different.
Oh, something's changing
different-
about it.
I feel like this would make a better logo for the rooster.
Yeah. That was fun. So this is.
Just one?
Let me just close this. Growing up is what it. But it does look like the rooster.
Oh,
Maybe that's a spirit animal. It's the rooster.
the rooster.
I don't know. I like that he just sets expectations over here, but just saying, hey, you know what? I'm just dipping my toe in everything. So like, we won't judge this too harshly. He's already working, and he wants to post his work out there. So I think he did great.
Okay.
Fantastic. So I would love to critique your logo collection there. And I think you started out really strong, and I get that. Maybe that's the newer work that you're doing, reflective of what you know now. And the problem I have with this collection is it gets weaker as we go down, and it feels like you're just filling in space. I would rather see 3 strong logos, which you have at least 3 strong logos, than to see 9 of them and 6 of them or 5 of them are not that good. Because the minute that I see some work that isn't as strong, I start to get suspicious. And you don't want anybody out there who's looking to potentially hire you for a full-time job, a freelance gig, or something else to become suspicious of you. So you have to be the best editor of your own work. Cut it out. If you're not sure, cut it out. I don't care if you spent 60,000 hours on it. If it's not doing you justice, cut it out. It doesn't reflect who you are.
Yeah.
Move on.
Take it.
Cut it out.
Cut it out. Take a chunk out, just like we are with this taco. By the way, I'd probably make those bites a little larger because otherwise that taco's the size of a plate in relation to the bites.
It's like a little chipmunk bite.
Yeah, which I want a taco that big, and maybe it's inspirational. Like, but I think he also wins for his avatar picture. Thank you so much, Corey Davis. Wish we had more time for you.
Good job. Good job.
Fantastic. Join us tomorrow. We're going to kind of continue this. Super fun seeing this progress. And yes, first-class designers dealing with a first-class brand. Thank you so much, Christo. Emily, how do I say your last name again?
Shay.
Shay, thank you. Not spelled. Shady.
Shady.
The real mastermind here. Thank you so much. Thank you, everybody, for joining us.
Bye.
We appreciate you.
Bye.
Joining
See you
us
next
tomorrow.
time. See you tomorrow.